the Edge podcast, where we talk all things art, culture, and entertainment, more specifically pop culture entertainment. I'm your host, Will the Greatest. I'm trying to see how fast I can get it, but with me today, I have
Micro Machines, man, over here.
Right, I'm working on it. But with me, I got my regular co-host, Aaron. Say hi, Aaron.
What's up, everybody?
And
Good to be back.
We got another guest today. We got my boy. How would you like the people to know you, my man? What moniker are you choosing?
Here, you can call me RC. You know what I'm saying? Or AKA the man of 1,000 rainbows. You know what I'm saying? AKA horse choker. You know what I'm saying? Or AKA, because I'm always known as something else. You know what I'm saying? So like, but no, you could just say like RC or just like DJ, whatever. Like, it's cool. But yeah, this is Rap Critic on YouTube, youtube.com/Rap Critic if you want to know the main thing that I do. Patreon.com/Rap Critic if you want to be a party to the exclusive stuff like the extra episodes of my movie podcast that I have, as well as getting to see Rap Critic episodes early where I review rap songs in a comical way, but still like being analytical and whatnot. So yeah, get with it, act like you want it.
Yeah, he out here critiquing and listening to the rippity raps.
Precisely.
So
the clinical term.
What led to this combining of powers, from 3 different living places across the state. Well, let me first ask.
3 sides of the map.
Yeah, it's like before we get into that, how's everybody doing today? This fine Sunday evening as we record. How are we doing, Aaron? How are you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm doing really good. Having a good ass day, even a good ass week. Just spent last weekend with you fine gentlemen over on the East Coast at Blerdcon, and been back's kind of been a whirlwind because I got thrown straight into the working man's life again.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just been pretty much grinding. After seeing Thor: Love and Thunder, it inspired me to go through the Thor movies after a second view. And yeah, I've having a bit of a alteration in my opinion of the movie, and excited to talk about that and the other content with you guys today. How about you? How you doing?
I'm getting better. I'm growing stronger by the day. Yeah, we'll get into the blur thing, but I tested positive for COVID.
Look at you.
I mean, if y'all saw me that weekend, statistically, it was probably bound to happen. But
oh yeah, no man, the way you was shaking your stinking ass on the floor, man. Look, you was getting your life. It's I guess a little bit of death got on you, Like.
Yeah, but it got hands, but I fight back viciously with the power of Mucinex and tissue boxes.
With that Rocky 4.
Yeah,
if you could change. Everybody can change.
Yeah, with the slurred speech and everything, but but no, I'm getting through it. I'm doing okay. Symptoms are relatively mild. Been drinking a lot of tea, and just like Aaron, I got thrown right back into the working man situation. But I've been doing good. I've been staying masked up and safe, and I'm hoping to kick it by either tomorrow or Tuesday. So. Being optimistic, everybody, because I'm be gone again soon. But RC, how you doing, bro? How are things going on your end?
Hopping from one thing to the next. I'm doing actually working on some of my music for the patrons. That's going to be uploaded to them exclusively. I got this new joint, actually 2 new joints that I'm working on, but one in particular where I just before recording this podcast, I actually recorded some takes to do, and if those work, we might go with them. But if not, I might have to travel to the person who I'm recording with and deal with it like that, which is going to be a whole thing. But I'm trying to go with quality for this next joint. I'm trying to make sure this shit sounds dope. So yeah, dealing with that, reeling from a Blerdcon, which is fucking incredible. The guest I sampled panel went incredibly well. I forgot to play my extra secret song that I was going to be playing, one of the songs that was supposed to be on the Patreon. So hey, if you happen to hear this, and you now know that there's an actual secret song that I played for a couple of people afterwards that stayed, but yeah, there's an extra exclusive song that in the excitement of doing the panel and how well it went, I was just like, okay, well, just to keep it from eventually getting screwed up, let's start packing things up. All right, we're done now. you know. But yeah, it went really well. Got to meet a couple of people, meet new people, met freaking Orlando Jones. Jesus Christ, I almost forgot to bring that
snap!
up.
Okay.
Oh my god, that was so awesome. Wait, were you there? Oh, you weren't there, were you?
I didn't see him the entire week. This can go right into. I guess the first thing is just like Blerdcon and
we can go at it all day.
Yeah, we can go ahead and get into that. But yeah, go ahead. I did not see him the entire weekend at all, not once. Somehow, the whole weekend.
Oh my god, that's incredible. Oh, cause we saw him the night the first night, and then there was a comedy night that was happening, a comedy show where there was like 3 comedians that came before. They were all great, and then Orlando tore down the house. So it was a really good first night. Like I was thinking I was gonna be mostly playing video games and like maybe meeting Orlando Jones. But like I met him, had a really good ass conversation. Like we were like just chilling and talking for like a good 20 minutes. And he like kicked game about the industry and all that sort of shit. It was like a great talk. And then afterwards, like we actually played way more board games than I played video games, so that was surprising. But it was great playing Cards Against Humanity and meeting people and stuff like that. And then afterwards, we went to the comedy special night, and all the comedians were great. They were fantastic. There was. Did you guys happen to? No one went to go see the comedy, huh?
We stopped in for a beat. I remember.
Did you happen to see the lasagna nigga?
No, somebody that was talking about going camping, I think, was the one that we caught, and I think we left for a panel. Yeah,
with the racist bear.
Right, with the racist bear.
Yeah, we saw him.
But yeah, and also, the reason why I especially actually wanted to watch the Ms. Marvel show is because at one of the shows, I think it was actually that first night, the Blerdcon thing had a thing going where they were just showing like the same 3 minutes of commercials, which got really annoying really quickly. And so I was just like, I just kept saying Miss Marvel, and I'm like, okay, well, I've got like, when something just annoys you so much with the repetition, it's just like, I just got to see how this plays out now, because it just kept blaring in my face. But yeah, but good night.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can just basically open it up. I mean, talking about how Blerdcon. So this year's theme was homecoming. How did we feel about it this year? I mean, like overall for me, I tend to have a positive experience. I was doing a lot. So the way I navigate things is a lot of my people were there at the same time. Aaron, this was your first year. My boy Devin. It was his second year. Basically, my main goal was getting all of my people to meet all of my people.
The crossover event.
Yeah, it was a crossover event for me. I was doing a lot of that, mostly the positive. There's a little bit of a drawback that I'm not going to talk about here on the show. But for the most part, it was pretty good. Everybody seemed like they had fun. I got to help out you with your panel. I think Guess That Sample went incredibly well, so I'm proud.
Yeah, thank you, by the way. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad for how that went. I'm thinking of a panel for Aaron and I to do next year. We'll workshop that and see how far that gets. But
I'm saying, try it out, because it was really fun to do the whole thing.
Oh yeah, and here's the fun fact. I was a panelist at the first Blerdcon.
Oh, word.
Ironically, with the old YouTube channel we used to work with. My future panel might actually be related to that. But no, the panels I got to go to were pretty good. I went to the Head Nerds in Charge panel. That was good. Those are some rowdy ass niggas. Yes, you can swear on the show. We went to Aaron, do you want to talk about the Black Talk one we went to about growing your fan base on social media and how we accidentally took over became the MVP. Not on purpose at all. Literally not on purpose. It was a pure accident. Do you want to talk about that one a little bit and kind of some of your experience too?
Yeah. As my first Blerdcon, and it was a really cool experience. I've been to a number of conventions over the years. I live out here in LA, in Los Angeles, So I'm used to more West Coast cons like Anime Expo, been to WonderCon, SDCC, San Diego Comic Con, and Los Angeles Comic Con. And I will say this is the first con I've ever been to. One, at a hotel, but two, that just had it's in the name, but just had so many black faces around, and seeing the infusion of culture and brought into the cosplay community. Like I saw a Prince that was Doctor Strange. You know, we saw people like Pootie Tang
Oh
and Joe
yeah.
Nuff, and people from the Boondocks, or something.
Oh my god, I saw
Con.
there was this one painting someone did of like Boondocks characters as My Hero Academia.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
that was
was
on a
looking at
shirt.
that.
Shirt.
Who was that?
It was on a
It
shirt.
was a shirt.
Oh no, somebody had a painting like it was like yeah. I was wishing I could find whoever the hell that was because it was so goddamn awesome.
I might be able to find it because I've seen it before. I need to.
Yeah, if you
find
can
it.
send that my way, that would actually be much appreciated.
I've seen it because they were selling it on the shirt. I'm like, fuck, I kind of want to get that shirt.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a dope shirt. So I guess to talk about the Black Talk one real quick. It was cool, you know. It was informative. Get to see a bunch of black TikTokers kind of talking about their experience with the app and their relationship with how they deal with mental health in relation to them being a content creator and having an audience, and then being supportive of other creators who are trying to build their audience, which is really dope. And when the topic of mental health came up, or even prior to that, I was sitting in my chair thinking of a question to ask them that was probably different than the traditional question that you'd ask someone at a content creator panel. And the question was something to the effect of, how do you balance creating content on a consistent basis and upkeeping your mental health? And before I got to ask my question, the topic naturally turned into that, or to that regard, because one of them talked about their disorder that they have had deal with.
Yeah, that was
currently dealing with, and then
that shit got heavy.
Yeah, it got real fast.
Yeah.
So then Will, do I can't remember. Do people know what you do?
I mean, I don't have a problem telling them. So
okay,
yeah.
So he said that he's a therapist, and then the whole panel like, "What did you say?" And so then the whole thing stopped, and they're just like, "Oh, we got a therapist in the house," and started cheering for him, doing it. Went up to him after the panel, starting to get information and whatnot, because niggas.
Hey, networking.
Yeah.
They did that, and then finally.
Oh shit! Are you falling out? Are you talking right now? Because I'm not hearing you.
Yeah. Did we lose Aaron?
Very interesting, because I got to ask a question, and when they started the panel, they said that someone was going to get an award, or like they're going to give out a prize. And when it came to me asking my question, can you guys hear me?
Shit, you fell out again.
Oh, we lost him.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
You said
now.
When it came to me asking my question.
Yeah, what was the question, and what did you win?
Yeah, all this suspense.
Yeah.
Why do these fucking apps know exactly at the most suspenseful point to cut out someone talking?
So when it came to my question, I asked the mental health question, and the guy who talked about his mental situation, he was like, "I was gonna surprise somebody with this item, but fuck that, I'm making you a sword." And it just took me by surprise, and people were clapping for me, and the fact that I was gonna get a sword because they liked my question and everything. So I was like, well, I don't know, I was just asking a question I was genuinely interested in,
Yeah,
to see how they'd answer it. And yeah, I connected with the creators afterwards, and then same thing with Will. So yeah, we were the MVPs of that panel. It was really dope. And then so that was a real highlight of the experience. And then after that, I got to go to a panel called Spoken Blurred. And I don't know if the audience knows here, but in addition to doing nerdy content and whatnot, I'm also a poet. So I got to
very good poet.
This panel. Yeah, I got to hear one of your poems when we was in the hotel. Actually, I remember that.
Yeah, an incredibly talented poet.
So I got to hear some people perform, and then I performed myself, and it was really cool because it was the first time I got to perform my work in front of a large majority Black audience, and I got a lot of positive
Yeah.
reception.
That's
from
so
that.
cool, man.
And yeah, and in addition to that, I got people were coming up to me after that con throughout the convention, saying that they like my stuff and they want to follow me. I'm not on social media right now, so they were saying trying to encourage me to get back on social media and everything. And I also do stuff with my friend Greg on the channel Real Rejects, and I got recognized a few times, and that was cool. Like, whoa, I got,
Nice.
yeah, I'm just sitting in my friend's house recording this show that I was already gonna watch, and then people across the country like come up to me and say they like the stuff that I'm doing. So that was a weird.
It's a good feeling.
I was like, okay, people watch this. This is cool. This is awesome. And yeah, then the party part was really cool. I've never been to a convention party like that before.
Oh man!
Oh, son!
It was wild.
Son!
It was wild.
Yeah, I've been to cons since 2008, and Blerdcons are consistently unmatched. Maybe
you know how we do.
Yeah, like maybe it's the demographic and the music choice, but it's like I've been going to cons since I was in middle school, dog. I can tell you the only thing that really compares with that is when we were on that boat, and you know what the demographic of that boat was.
Yes, sir. SDCC 2019. Never forget. That was an incredible experience. But yeah, I think.
My shirt was literally soaked through when I was done with that night. I remember that shit.
Yeah,
I was like, damn, I feel like I just went through a water park.
Oh yeah, these boys went hard, y'all.
Friday
Will
night
is the Energizer Bunny on the dance floor. That man can dance for hours on end.
Party animal,
my feet were fried because I was telling Aaron about Friday night. I'm like, hey dog, rest up. You know, you might want to like be careful with the partying because we're gonna do the same shit again tomorrow night.
Oh, see, that's my thing. I didn't get to hang out with you boys on Friday night because a friend of mine was visiting, and he's like, "Oh, I'm tired. I feel like I gotta go." And I was like, damn it, gotta be all responsible. All right,
For my experience, the second night was better anyway. So
Friday night was the house night. Saturday night was the turn up night where there was. Respectfully, I mean this respectfully.
Niggas was wild.
Yeah, we had 30 bad bitches on a stage.
Look, they was turning up. I feel like Redman and How High. Well, dang, it did get a little out of hand.
Look, a little out of hand. I think someone might have got their ass ate on the stage.
Oh, things were firmly in hands.
Yeah, there was. It was like a good 200 pounds of cake moving on stage. And that's not even talking about like the men and women and everybody else, gender regardless, in the crowd.
And the audience. Oh my God. It was a look. It was a beautiful sight to see.
Anytime I saw some people borderline about to turn the floor into Marvin Gaye.
Oh my goodness! Like, look, we're near a hotel for a reason, people.
Right, and the thing is, and y'all didn't see like the end when like they packed up and cut the lights on, where they played Beyonce's version of what's the song? You know the one I'm talking about, Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Oh,
the one with the line dance. You know what I'm talking about?
Line dance.
Hold up. Before I Let Go. Goddamn.
Before I Let Go. Okay.
So
I can't remember.
There's a whole another version of the line dance for Before I Let Go that I had to learn on the fly. that we was all doing. I'm like, wait a minute. Y'all switching up the dance. What's with all these extra claps and shit?
Wow.
Well, he was
now
out
look
there.
At that.
Learning some line dance. The rest of the party that he assembled was up on the top floor, just like tapped out. It was
yeah, like
we were all up there, just partied out and just like communicating and communing and whatnot. That was
like
if
you ever seen the Ghostface Killer music video for what's the name of that song? Tommy Matola, Share La Ghost. You know, where it's like a hotel room where it's just like a bunch of people looking passed out. Similar to that.
Yeah, that's how the nighttime like be, especially because the game section be open 24 hours, so people just be sitting down there playing fighting games and Super Smash
Yeah, man, and that's my thing.
Other people are like,
you gotta watch what
dehydrated.
conventions you gotta watch what conventions you go to too, because I had just last month went to another convention with my friend who had just said like, oh yeah, it's a collector's convention, da da da, and they like, I've been spoiled by MagFest and Blerdcon and QuirkCon where it's just like, oh yeah, they're gonna have video games, where they're gonna have a space over here and over there, and for this it was just the traders room, and I was just like, oh, where's the video games? Where's the rest of the toys? You know,
Right.
I was mad disappointed. So yeah, like, you know, so some cons don't be lit like that, and some do have that variation where it's like, oh, you can go over here to the video game dungeon, or you can go over here to the board game, or you can see the panels, or you could do, you know what I'm saying? Those are the ones I like the most, because you were just like hopping from thing to thing and just being able to organically shape your day based on, you know, who happens by and what do you hear about. You know what I'm saying? It's truly a fun experience, and I want to try to do it more, and just in general try to get the hell out of the house and do more stuff. But you know, money is required for that, and the way gas prices go, it seems like they're trying to make sure less and less people do that. So,
man, listen,
well, hey, man, if you could find a way, if we could all find a way to make it out to SDCC next year, that would be lit, because that's a con on a different level.
That is,
what's that con? I don't know what.
That's San Diego Comic-Con, which is that's the convention, which networking wise, it's amazing.
It's a what convention?
That is the like you talking conventions. That's
the.
That is
like we're going to parties ran by Amazon.
Yeah, capital THE.
Okay.
But
okay, I need to start making my way.
But you if you go, you don't go regular. That's all I'll say. you go with some perks.
Don't go Vince Staples.
Yeah, you go with a couple perks.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah. We went to the yacht party and we left with a T-shirt, a goodie bag, and a phone and a portable charger.
You left with a T-shirt. What? I had the charger and the goodie bag.
I left with all of it.
Yeah, you know, and you.
Well, you didn't get a T-shirt?
Oh, that's what you kept saying. You're like, you didn't get a T-shirt. I'm like, I didn't even know there was goodie bags in this bitch till the end.
Man,
wow.
I remember it.
You just left your homeboy out to dry. That's cold-blooded.
But no, it's just.
I don't even remember that, to be honest. Drinks were flowing, my boy.
Yeah, and we got a couple like industry people that we're mutuals with, so I always try to reach out to them, see how they're doing. I need to try and get them on the show at some point, because they're very like talented people, like Cheyenne, who I think actually works for Funimation now. So shout out to Cheyenne, who she does work for Funimation, Amazon. She's also director and has her own indie project. So shout outs to her. I'll tag her social.
That's awesome.
She's cool as peoples. And does dope content. And then our other homie, Jazz, who does I think she does game development stuff, and she does the YouTube channel pretty brown and nerdy now. So they're good peoples. But yeah, I mean, talking about Blur. Oh, how was for you, RC? I mean, how was the cosplay competition?
Cosplay competition was cool. Oh my god, there was this one guy who had been working on a what do you call it? Been working on what's that thing where you like the 3D printing? Yeah, he had been like 3D printing this armor for like 9 months. We had met him, and I forgot what the name of the costume character was. It was something that sounds like Big Boy or something like that, but it's like this red, intense fucking costume. And we had, in fact, I think we saw him when we were playing Cards Against Humanity. Remember, he was like lying down because he was just been in that costume and it had been hot all day.
It wasn't the dude in the big Monster Hunter costume, was it?
Yeah,
I saw him with the he had the J's on. He had the matching J's.
Yeah, he didn't win.
The
person who won was someone doing they did the female JoJo Butterfly costume, and I was like, man, I mean, it's cool.
Oh, no, because I saw him walking around, because that's why I remembered him. I'm like, yo, he turned a dragon into some goddamn basketball shoes. That's disrespectful.
Yeah. But yo,
dragons out here.
And there was another woman who had I forgot what I think it was from Kill la Kill. And it was like a red thing with a top hat and like skeleton looking things that were like
the band shawty. I know who she is.
That looked really cool. I was like, man, that one should have won. And there was a whole bunch of people. I love it when you get those people who look like I think someone was like Angelwoman from Digimon, which was fucking awesome. Whenever you get the joints with like the huge wings and they're always like walking sideways and shit, like, like, because they got to get through crowds and they're just like, excuse me. And it's like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, if you took a picture of this con, this place looks incredible. But if you actually see it in motion, it's just kind of silly. This person having to go, like, pardon me, like they only work in like 2D, you know, like they're a 2D sprite character.
Yeah, the biggest thing about learn about like character design is through cosplayers you can determine, okay, maybe this shit wasn't supposed to be seen in the third dimension, which is how I discovered how some of these Marvel costumes do not hold up that well to scrutiny in real life, which
oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's like shit that looks good on a you know,
comic book
doll or in a cartoon doesn't necessarily map on a human body that moves around.
Which that might lead. I mean, was there anything else we want?
Got a vendetta against Sam Wilson, Will.
It's not just Sam. Did we want to go into our first topic kind of on that note? Talking about rough-looking costumes and visuals.
Oh, wait. Now, which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about Thor. I'm talking about Thor. I'm on your ass.
Oh, we're coming out the gate with it, huh?
I am on that ass, because... boy, where to start and where to begin? This movie is decisive.
Oh boy,
Thor: Love and Thunder.
It really annoys me how much like I was actually looking forward to this and like going like, oh man, we're gonna have another, you know, fun romp. And like I'm okay with having fun, but the issue is like, okay, we gonna
full spoiler talk for Thor: Love and Thunder. If you ain't seen it, go see it and come back.
Get with it, but maybe don't, because
maybe wait till it hits Disney Plus as well.
Because like I'm just thinking of this movie. Okay, I'm going to this movie. I'm thinking we're gonna have a good time, and it's just gonna be like, you know, it's either gonna be fun or, you know, it's gonna be Guardians of the Galaxy. It's fun, but there's gonna be a little bit of heart underneath it that like, oh, you can't deny it. You know what I'm saying? But with this movie, it like hits you so hard with trying to do like serious. Like, first of all, okay, the first scene with Gore there's too many characters.
Thor, Gore.
Mighty Thor.
Mighty Thor.
Like, yeah, okay. So who
Star-Lord.
Yeah, who is played by Christian Bale?
Gore the God Butcher.
Gore?
The alleged God Butcher.
That's Gore. Yeah,
who killed one guy.
Yeah, the alleged God Butcher. So, like, yeah, it starts off, like, super serious with, you know, like, oh, man, this man's trapped in the desert, you know, like, taking care of his child. Oh, you know, like, he loses her. And then he comes across the gods. A god that's supposed to be his god just happens to be chilling in the desert, who apparently was within reach. Like, they could have gotten to this person eventually, I guess. And he's like, oh my God, you're our God. Please help. Give him just something. My daughter's dying. And he's like, fuck that. I'm a god. I don't give a shit what you want. And it's like, but it's so like silly. Like, first of all, these graphics, and I remember my friend Ivan was like pointing at that the whole time. Like, why does this look like the production of a television show instead of like a movie? You know what I'm saying? But you know, I was kind of like going like, you know what, man? Like, I can ride with it on the like there are movies from like 30 years ago or 50 years ago that kind of have like clear matte backdrops, and you know, like what? That's kind of like the charm, like whatever, you know. So I'm like, I can roll with it.
Yeah, they were in the volume.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to like pay attention to this plot, and like it's like, okay, so they just happened to slay the god butcher with the sword just right before you gave. Oh wow, you just missed this epic battle. Yeah, it was awesome with the sword that's right over there. And oh yeah, I guess we're not gonna bother like, I don't know, putting that somewhere that no one can get it or like destroying it or something. No, we're just gonna eat for a while. And I guess just allow it to get into Gore's hands so we can kill me like a fucking dumbass. It was just like
didn't try to move it or anything. It's like he's weak and inferior. What's the he's
but it's like you see it getting into his hands, and it's like okay, so the split thing can move.
It's smooth, slid up in there too.
Yeah, did you not? Yeah, I was like, did you not just fight someone with this thing?
What were we saying, Aaron? What were we saying?
Yo, something I noticed on the second time watching it. So the whole thing with why he gets the sword is because it's calling to him, right?
Yes.
And like
it's
talking
talking
to him when he's there.
to him.
But it starts to call to him while he's in the desert with his daughter. But they never explain why it calls him specifically. It's just something he starts to hear.
I guess he's near it.
He's near, I guess, but like I feel like there's a deeper mythology to this sword that we don't know about. They just never care to explain.
Well, I mean, there's so much. Like I said, that someone was just slain, and it's just like, oh my god. Like, I think someone was, after we watched the movie, someone was talking about how, like, oh yeah, this could be related to the the Venom symbiote.
Yeah, that was me, because
sword.
the all black, the Necro sword is a symbiote. It's at least in the comics, it's a symbiote wielded by Null, who's like this deep old elder god son of a bitch.
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there as far as the narrative
goes. Yeah,
because it was just someone who previously tried to kill him with the sword, and here's your turn to try to kill him. And apparently these gods like don't have any sense of self-preservation, like, because he was just able to slide right into his head. He just slid it right into his neck, and he killed him. And it was like, oh, okay, I guess this god butcher is gonna be easier. Did no one just think to do it before? Like, what's going on? Why was it that easy to kill a god?
Yeah, it's all right. So I guess plot wise, let's start from the beginning. So we have like gore, which, to all things considered, I mostly like the opening, the visuals on.
I do like it. That's my thing. Like, I enjoy it for the stakes that it built of this character. Like, oh yeah, this is this guy who's got it out for the gods.
Right.
Like
the supreme atheist, never meet your heroes.
Exactly, and do the thing. And then it kind of says something like, well, Thor's a god. Like, okay, we're going to start having a conversation about, it's like, well, in this universe, we seem to know that gods are real, and some of them seem to not be answering people's prayers. So like, oh, is there going to be like a reckoning? Is there going to be a moment where we have to confront that? Is the movie going to like talk about that? It's like, not really.
We're going to make some jokes. So
let's make some jokey jokes. Oh, right after stage 4 cancer.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa there. So it's like, yeah, we got Gore, who ends up getting the Necro sword, and he kills, I guess, the god Rapu is evidently his name. In his little
and the thing gives him evil powers, and it's that thing like in Doctor
Strange. Makes him ashy as all shit.
But it's like, oh yeah, it's like a God of War thing. But it's like you were evil before and clearly already had a motivation, but this item is making you even more evil.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, is it? I don't know.
It's like, I don't know, man. I feel like wanting to get rid of all gods because of essentially turning into a blasphemer because you felt rejected by that you worshipped your entire life is a pretty solid motivation enough. I don't think the sword needs to really. I mean, yes, it's the first symbiote. It's corrupt.
Crazy part.
The sword is the internet that pulls him on the dark side of the internet.
It's Reddit.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
the dark web or whatever.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Name.
Yo, the sword. This in a different movie. This motherfucker would be the main character of the story.
Yeah,
it would be like fucking Soul Calibur.
Yeah, like this. Yeah, this would be like,
or in God of War.
But
they don't give him enough to be interesting enough to be a character to co-lead the movie.
Which is a shame, because one of the things I said to y'all is like, Christian Bale is an incredible method actor without being a douchebag about it. Because like this whole movie, I was just fully engrossed. I'm like, oh yeah, he's good. I like the perform. Like, I'm not seeing, like, I know it's Christian Bale because of casting, but I'm not like seeing that on the screen. But what I should have gotten was Patrick Bateman in space. That's what I should have gotten. Just this like nihilistic atheist who doesn't give a shit because he has nothing left to lose. Like, he's lost his love, literally, and he's lost his faith. And that's a great motivator.
And here's the thing: they keep paying lip service to, like I said in the Doctor Strange movie. Oh, this item is corrupting them; it's making them more evil. But like, I want to see that borne out in the dialogue, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would love it if there was like a scene of like, maybe they're thinking more rationally, but then a part of them goes like, no, and gives them a more irrational thought. It's like, well, like, hey, maybe they have a point about like, we don't need to go this far. And then it's like, well, wait a minute, but then I might need to do this. And so if I need to save my daughter, then this needs to happen because then, like showing the actual
corruption take place.
Yeah, seeing how they're logically falling, because this happens to people. This is real.
Yeah.
You know, people do. You know, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. How many people, like, you know, you think it's a noble cause, right? Like, oh, you know, if these religions are going to be, you know, false and bad for us, and just living on top of us, just to you know get just to be worshipped, then damn the gods. Then you know, to hell with you,
Yeah.
as Arnold Schwarzenegger would say in that one movie. You know.
Yeah, and like to your point, like you could have leaned into. I'm not saying the movie can't have fun, and I think that's part of my as we work through the plot and everything. My biggest issue with the movie is that I walked into it being like, oh, this is probably like gonna be a family movie where like everyone can enjoy it and it has its moment, but it was more of a children's movie.
Yeah, it was a children's movie, but it's like
It's
you can
also
have
not
fun
a
without
children's movie.
undercutting. You can have fun without undercutting
Yeah.
the seriousness, the weight in the stakes.
Yeah.
Because Pixar movies do it all the time. I'm sorry, there's no excuse. So you know, like
Aaron, what were you saying?
But it's also not a kids movie in the fact that
No, you're right, because they talk about orgies, there's
bro,
cancer.
Bro, they talk about
the word
they talk about
orgy in a
orgies.
Disney
They
movie,
talk
ladies
about
and gentlemen.
blasphemy against religion.
Yeah.
They talk about cancer, but there's also like this lighthearted kid thing. I'm like, what do you want?
It's not. And this comes into, I think, what makes the movie most divisive is the way humor is handled. Because here's a issue, in my opinion, with the humor in the movie is when it lands, it's good, but when it bombs, it bombs hard.
Yeah, and the problem is
that,
the problem is that it just keeps going a mile a minute. There's no sense that a couple of jokes maybe were left on the cutting room floor. It feels like everything was.
They kept it all in.
Laugh. Yeah,
Aaron, what were you saying?
You know what I realized is that Taika Waititi twice now is in a way pulled a Ryan Johnson, and let me explain.
I follow where you're going, but continue. Flush it out. Follow you.
So, at the beginning of Thor Ragnarok, he does this twice in both films. At the beginning of, well, first of all, let's start with the end of Thor, the Dark World, where it ends with we thinking Loki's dead, and then we find out Loki's on the throne, and like, oh, what shenanigans are gonna become of that? And then as soon as Thor Ragnarok begins, they undo that or wrapped it up in like a span of 5 minutes for us to move on to the next plot. And at the end of Endgame, they established that Thor is going with the Guardians to try to find himself. In the beginning of this movie, they wrapped it up in 5 minutes to move on.
Come on, bro. It was 10 minutes.
Let the thing that they set up.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. It was 10 minutes.
Oh my god!
Like, can we
But
just
you're right.
let the thing that the last artist established breathe before you knock it down and do something else?
Can we let
they both introduced interesting things, but he didn't like play with that because he wanted to do what he wanted to do.
Can I just say this right now? The fact that like, does anybody die in this movie?
The one obvious
supposed to be a god butcher,
gore and one god.
Yeah, that you see off screen.
Yeah, and then like,
yeah, I was like, wait, because I had the moment because like, oh my god, there's a scene where it seems like Core is about to die, the Rock Man, and then oh no, he's fine, it's just his face. Let's do a cutesy little, awful looking fucking GoPro thing. I hate that every time I see GoPro in a movie. It looks like we're cutting to fucking YouTube and someone died. Like in the Batman movie when he's like, "Oh, I'm diving off the bridge."
I didn't mind it there. I didn't mind it in this one. I wish they would have let Korg die so they could take it a little. I know they're not going to kill him because it's Taika Waititi and he needs the extra check, but.
It's like then just don't do it.
He didn't do anything in the entire movie except
because you're right. Because
he didn't actually contribute to the
plot. Whole sequence is his fault because they were disguised and they're like, "Halt! Who is that?" And Korg is like, "Oh, they're right here." I'm like, "Nigga."
Yeah, I'm like, "Yo, did you really do that,
bitch? Did you just sell them out
on a serious mission right now?"
What? Which
he contributed literally nothing to the plot except for that moment. But also, if we speak of that moment, two things. One, Russell Crowe is actually really funny.
He was actually great.
I thought he was really funny. I hate it. This is a perfect example. I thought he was great in what he was doing. It was a great scene. But then I was thinking, how the hell is this going to connect to what's happening? Because like, okay, we're in omnipotent city. All the gods are here. all the gods. Yes, that religion too. Whatever religion you were thinking of,
Baal,
they are here.
Bast was there, evidently she was there, sitting right in front of like fucking mighty Thor. Just didn't want to tell us who was all there. We don't know who this is.
By the way, didn't just a side note, just Peppy didn't decide to play Paradise City here. What the hell? How is this
my God.
not the time to play Paradise
You're right.
City? What a waste.
Why not?
But oh, never mind that, because I'm trying to tell you guys about the fact that it's like Omnipotent City, like all of the gods, like yes, all of the gods, and yet when this thing happens, when it's just like, oh, they need to sneak in. Oh, you need to sneak into Omnipotent City, where all the
gods can see everything.
Omnipotent is showing everything. How would you sneak in?
And that would have been a perfect beat for Gore to follow through on some of his shit.
Come in and kill gods.
And kill some guys.
Oh my! I was thinking, okay, when I was watching the scene, I was thinking like, yo, wouldn't it be crazy if there was some like sort of like crossover with like Gore stole Ant-Man's technology, and actually, the whole time when we keep cutting back to it, it's like, well, where is it this whole time? What is this fucking Tim Burton contraption that these kids are sitting in? What if it was actually like, oh, he shrunk down to like a really small level,
okay,
and he's actually on Thor's back, and then when they come in, he like grows up and then starts slaying all the gods. Because there's a whole thing where they're
like,
move
in shadows. He doesn't even need all that shit.
They're after you.
He can move in shadows. He doesn't even need to do all that. He could just pop out of shadow.
Some reason to have this big scene. Like, this is clearly a set piece that's set up. But you know what ends up happening instead? Thor kills Zeus, and you're like, whoa, goddamn, that's pretty intense. Oh, but no, he didn't, because at the end, he's just alive. And
not even that. It was the fact that
if no one's gonna die, what the fuck is the point?
Because I'm okay with the like fake out of like, is Zeus alive or not? But again, it got undercut with the joke because the goats came in bleeding first through the window, like into the fight.
You know what I think?
I
think that I think that what they should have done after the whole killing Zeus thing, I feel like they should have taken a note from Guardians 2, where after the Guardians fuck over the Sovereign and then they come back into the movie later. I think that's really cool.
That's what I thought they were gonna do.
I thought maybe they're gonna do something fun like that.
Like I thought they were gonna come back and like that was gonna be the army to be like, hey, we're taking this shit serious. You could have still had the stuff with the kids. That could have.
Okay, remember that episode of Rick and Morty where they like end up destroying this whole world that they thought was like really evil and facehugger or something like that, and then they have to come back to get Summer, and then they think they can just casually walk through, and then he's like, oh my god, it's those guys, literally the worst people ever. It would have been great to have a beat like that, and I bring up Rick and Morty because there's a specific beat that they steal where they go to the planet. It's like, oh, here's this planet, and it's a little smaller than you think it is. I was like, I know you took that from Rick and Morty,
you know what I just realized? Because you know how the gods didn't come back, and the purpose of them
whatsoever
going there was to get the Thunderbolt. Bruh, when you realize the post-credit scene, it just hit me right now. That entire second act in Magnificent City, that wasn't to further the story of Thor 4. That was to entirely set up for Thor 5.
Oh, God.
They spent the entire second act setting up for the next Thor movie.
That makes sense because with how they end it, with it's just like, again, destroying any stakes. If you thought being killed at all mattered, which they take it all away anyway. Oh, the afterlife is totally there, so it's fine. It doesn't matter who is going to die anyway. It's like, I thought they were at least going to do. Okay, remember that one woman that they show earlier in the movie who's like, her arm.
Yeah, that was Lady Sif, who we haven't seen for like 2 movies.
And they're like,
we haven't seen her in years, and then she's here, and then she's gone. It's like, this should be a kind of huge thing.
And her arm gets ripped off.
It's one of his best friends.
Remember they make a joke about going like, oh, maybe your arm is in Valhalla. I thought maybe since it's going to be a movie of jokey jokes, I thought at the end we were going to see her arm, like sort of like, sitting in a waiting pose,
That would have been kind of funny. That it's a brick joke.
If we're going to set up a joke and it doesn't matter, let's just go all out,
Okay, so 2 things. One, when we got Thor's butt cheeks, we were absolutely robbed, and it's just like, don't make me flick your friends too, and they just take the cloaks off. I'm like, you raggedy bitch! Right. We was robbed!
Look, it's gonna be PG-13.
I don't give a fuck. You could be PG-13 with men's cheeks, women's cheeks, non-binary cheeks. I am equal opportunity for booty meat. I'm a connoisseur, goddammit, and we was robbed. I can only get that shit in Westworld now, but
also, but then the question becomes, it's like again, like this omnipotent city, and nobody can tell who these people are without having to flick their robes off. Okay, fine. And then this whole fight scene takes it. None of the other gods do anything.
Oh, they're just chilling.
Fucking big ass.
This goes
like,
sort itself.
My name Paul, and that's between y'all.
But no, look,
I feel like we could have skipped Omnipotent and just cut to like another thing like we got to go to Omnipotent City. What's the worst that can happen? And then cut to them leaving with going through the thing with the light.
You know, I was gonna it only really set up the fact that Thor gets Zeus's lightning bolt, and you didn't really have to do. You could have easily just made that scene. He goes to his palace and asks, and super Greek accurate, Zeus accurate Russell Crowe says yes, and had the same like.
Or maybe no, and like he has to steal it or something.
Yeah, and it could have been like it didn't have to be the whole pantheon of every god, which was an opportunity to do a bunch of cool cameos, but we don't know who any of these gods are until you like Google search or have people that dig their heels into the dirt reading the credits through screen grabs. It's like,
and you know what it is? It's more about the fan service of, oh my god, look at the presentation and how cool this looks, as opposed to, wait, does this work? Now that we've introduced that all of these gods are here and do exist and just kind of hang out. Oh yeah, geez. Well, now all of humanity and all of these people have a right to be angry at all of them because, Thanos snapped. None of these gods decided to get off their ass when that happened.
You got it. Like the only ones we recognized were Celestials at the dead end, and that was just a sight gag.
Right.
What were you gonna say, Aaron?
I'll take two problems with Gore past the intro of this movie.
Only two?
One, the fact that well, two big ones specifically. One, the fact that Gore's whole thing is the fact that all gods must die because they don't care about me and they don't care about humanity, or they don't care about life and whatnot. So his plan is to go to Asgard to goat out Thor and use his care against the people against him, and then take kids who he's banking on that people that he cares about to go save. When his whole thing
gods don't care about people. Wait, that's. Hey.
Let's take it back to this for a second, actually, because this is a really big. The whole shadow sequence really felt like.
Let's talk about that while we're talking about visual effects.
I checked that. Because first
I couldn't
of all,
see the fight.
The motivation.
I could not see that fight.
Okay, there's that. But I'm just talking about the motivation of this character. He's kidnapping all of these kids. I'm thinking like, is the point that like, oh man, are we gonna get dark? Is the point that he kidnaps them to lure him out, and then he either kills the kids or is like using trying to scare them to get them to be like, stop believing in these gods. Maybe trying to get them to be his followers. Like some sort of dynamic happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm trying to use their fear, for some sort of reason why you would need to kidnap these kids, other than I kidnapped the kids because I'm the big bad guy and that's what I'm supposed to do. Like, there's no reason why he's doing using them for leverage. Give me the fucking give me the Bifrost creator and I'll give you back the kids. Something, you know what I'm saying?
Did anyone else find it weird? Because I noticed it both time I watched it, but this is the first time I'm vocalizing it, is the fact that every time Thor would go to the vision to Axel, Gore just happened to not be there.
No, I noticed that too. He was just like
where?
Not around.
Be a scene where
why is he just gone? Like, why is?
Wait, was he out killing other gods off screen that we didn't get to see?
Yeah, it's like, nigga, where are you?
That would have made sense if it's just like, oh my god, are you safe? Where's Gore? It's like we believe he might have gone to another planet to slaughter them, and then you cut to him just like cutting bitches down. That would have been really.
That would have.
Okay, so it's like. Right.
But oh no, we've got to have a whole bunch of scenes about Thor joking with kids because it's the fourth movie, and we got to keep the kids laughing in the audience, I guess.
We don't want to show Gore, the God Butcher, killing other gods, because
which is what kids would want to see.
And why did you make Gore the God Butcher?
Why was he because he has like.
if you want to make
has a great motivator. It's a great performance. It's a great concept. Execution was not giving what it was supposed to give, and that makes me very disappointed. Particularly, not only
he clearly wasn't
you know what he
giving
could
enough.
have been. You know what he could have been in a way. This may sound like a strange analogy at first, but he could have been like what
I was going to say the same shit.
What Killmonger was Black Panther. He could have been the Black Panther. He could have been the Killmonger to.
You're absolutely right.
I was thinking the same
thing. He should have been, because it's like you have Thor, who's essentially in like his whole arc should have been the acceptance phase of grief, because when you talk about loss, out of everyone in the MCU, Thor has lost the most shit, including this movie.
Like,
a man who's living forever, apparently, and has lost all most of the people that we know in the time that
in the past, like his past 20 years has been ass. He lost his eye, he lost his dad, mom, brother, most of his teammates, his best friends, except for one, like his girl, 2 times, like physically and metaphorically or emotionally. It's like he lost his hammer for a hot minute. Like, he keeps taking L's, and we're not like, they do a good job staying on it between Infinity War and Endgame. I really like what his arc was between those movies. I like kind of his arc in like Thor 1 for all its flaws. Like, I like his willingness to kind of engage with grief in Thor 2. But like,
it's interesting you bring that up, because I'm actually rewatching the Thor movies for the first time in years, and I kind of had a realization as I'm watching them. This motherfucker never wanted to be king. Like, outside of the first movie, like, he wants nothing to do with
it's fine.
He just wants to do.
I'm fine. I like King Valkyrie. I wish she had more to do, because I really like her. It's a shame that the movie doesn't.
Yeah, it seems like it just doesn't matter, because she's like, oh, but I don't want to do just this, stuff on the battlefield. I don't want to just do all this bureaucracy. I want to, be back in charge in battle. And then it's like, oh, now you have a chance to be back in battle. Epic fight of your life. And then she kind of gets stabbed through the liver, and she's like, oh no, I don't want to fight
benched
anymore.
her.
I'm going to go back.
They benched her right when she was doing cool. Like, she has a goddamn... Okay, so let's get back to the introduction of the Mighty Thor. Go ahead.
But wait,
finish your thought. Finish your thought. We'll go back
okay,
because I want to talk about that.
So the through line through the Thor movies, in spite of the tonal inconsistencies and whatnot, is the fact that this man started off his journey with him about to become king, and the entire time, for one reason or another, he's been kept from the throne until Thor 3, where him having the throne is essentially forced upon him. And then immediately with the next movie, he loses the throne, or with not loses it, but
Asgard is torn from him,
and then
because Ragnarok is the destruction of
it. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Ragnarok's the destruction of it, but then he's technically king through the 5 years, and he's miserable because he's all consumed by the fact that they lost. So I think his arc could and should be him trying to find purpose. He's never wanted to be king, and then Thor Ragnarok, it was forced upon him. I think it should be the choice of him wanting to rule. I think that should eventually be where his arc should go, is the fact that he wants to be king, and he feels like he's
like, maybe he has a civic duty to like make the world a better place.
Not only a duty, but a desire.
Yeah, because
like the Asgard. I mean, let's talk for a second. The Asgard that he is in control of right now, it looks like a low rent Disney.
But that's the point.
Like,
it's a tourist attraction. It's literally a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
But Infinity Cone, such a weird, like, at first I was like, haha, that's funny.
I was
I'm like, no, that's weird.
That's tied with a traumatic event in this universe.
It's like,
would you really want to make a cutesy ice cream cone place out of that?
The Infinity, was it like Infinity Stones
a 9/11 jumpy. Right, that'd be like having a 9/11 jumpy.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, the Auschwitz skating rink.
Oh no!
It's like, yeah, don't you want to come check out the gift shop at where the non-king bombing happened or some shit?
Yeah, oh god, if we sell milkshakes and
it's
strawberry red and Zyklon blue.
You literally named an ice cream shop after a mass genocide. Like, that's a little
Yeah, like
strange.
straight up and down, like that.
It's like, yeah, they came back. It's like,
that is what is
it's like,
happening.
yeah, but shit hasn't been the same since.
Or like
And-
if they made like Partition VR
Right.
the ride.
You ever wonder what what it was like to go through slavery? Well, on this ride.
Yeah. Now here's the thing: if they
Harriet Tubman,
Harriet Tubman.
if they leave,
That's the actual Underground
I'm saying,
Railroad.
like, Cause isn't that what they're doing? This whole movie's supposed to be like, oh, we're so jaded, nothing matters. It's like, if they're really gonna do that, don't fuck around with it. Do it expeditiously. Like, make the movie about that, and then have this character who's like, oh shit, to this one guy, Gore the God Killer, nothing matters. Absolutely nothing matters. And so, like, now that really means something. You know what I'm saying?
And I can only presume that what was attempted to be done is you're trying to offset darkness and grimness and apathetic nihilism that is like Gore's philosophy to the universe, and having it compare against somebody that's optimistic and jovial despite how much he's overcome. That's what the parallel should have been about, just like hope and optimism versus nihilism and pessimism, which is interesting because of the power dynamic between the human who used to worship gods and a god himself. That's a really interesting dynamic of someone that has all the power being the beacon of optimism despite, all of life's misgivings, and the person that has been downtrodden and, given up all of his hope because he put faith in that higher power. That's a really interesting philosophical dynamic that we didn't get because it's just entirely imbalanced because we don't get enough of Gore.
I was just really thinking the scene where they go to the colorless world,
the Shadow Realm.
It felt like a conversation almost happened that could have really meant something.
And it was set up perfectly, especially when he catches the three of them and he's just monologuing, going, which it's a good scene. I enjoyed the Shadow Realm, as dumb a name for that planet it is.
Yeah, but Thor never really has a response for anything he says.
No, get Stormbreaker and give him what he wants.
He's like, I'm focused on getting out of here. It's like, no, you should have had the villain just be like, you're a raggedy. He's like, when is the last time you visited the people that have prayed to you? When is the last time you've when is the last time you've walked around Earth?
Right.
There's still no shade, no disrespect. There are people that still worship the North gods to some capacity. Like, there's Norse pagans that exist.
Right. So
to this day, and nigga, you're alive, you're real. Like, they can see you on the news. Yeah. So,
or now, if it's this question of like, maybe, hey, Asgardians are his people. Like I said, we could have that philosophy of like, that's coming up against him being a god who is trying to care for his people and is trying to do something.
I would have really liked if Asgard wasn't the tourist attraction, but Asgard itself was actually semi-struggling. Like she was holding it down, but Asgard was actually kind of struggling, and he was in combination with him being the buffoon that he is at the beginning of the movie, like destroying the temple and whatnot, and the fact that he thinks he's doing good while being lost and not knowing what the fuck he wants in life, but he's actually the type of person that Gore is actually against, and realizing that he needs to change.
And you know what part of maybe Valkyrie's arc could have been her trying to see if she can receive the Odin Force. Because Thor doesn't have it, but she's king. She's the king of Asgard, so rightfully so, it should be her power, and that's how she could have been involved in the third act. And you could have mirrored, because in the comics, evidently, it takes like 3 Thors to fuck up Gore even a little bit. So it's like, oh, you could have mirrored that by having the mighty Thor, regular Thor, like Thor Odinson, and then Odin Force Valkyrie. Would that not have been the dopest shit? Yeah. And all the kids, fuck it. Throw the kids in there, throw that pantheon of all those other gods in there. You could have had like this rainbow of we are all united by our faith. We're not giving up because it's not about like faith in a biblical Abrahamic sense, but it's like faith that together we are stronger than your nihilism. We believe there is no higher purpose, so we create that purpose by empowering ourselves.
Oh,
is that not cool? Right. And the kids get in on it. Like,
Yeah, it's a lesson for the kids, a lesson for the adults.
Because the kids get Thor's power, the gods are helping out, because it's like, oh, we hear you calling out to us. Let's come, like a parent coming to help a child. It's like, you've been telling me you need help, and I finally come back from the corner store. You know, like, treat it like that shit, because it's like, yeah, one person is gonna have doubt, but it's not so much about, it's like, you're not strong because you believe in me, but the fact that you have that level of conviction in yourself and you didn't give up. That's the tenacity of your own spirit. I sound like a fucking pastor.
It is fun, like, you know, these are philosophical ideas that it's not like someone's hiding them. Like, you could.
It doesn't have to be like a big thing.
Like
it doesn't have to be like Tenet or some big Christopher Nolan. Like, what is the ethos of the? It's like, no, you can do that in a fucking kids movie. It's very easy.
Yeah. Now, okay, so let's get to Lady Thor's
Mighty Thor's deal in the cancer subplot.
I was so annoyed by this in the sense of like, because like they kind of introduced, oh, she has stage 4 cancer. Okay, wow, that's pretty intense. This is really like, we're gonna go here. Okay, what are we gonna do? And then it's like she like happens to crack open a couple of books on Norse mythology and is going like, oh wait, Mjolnir can can grant health and, you know, wellness to anyone who possesses it. Oh wow, that's kind of interesting. I should go. However the hell she's gonna get this thing, whatever she gets
the new Asgard to see.
Yeah, and then she's able to do that, and then she what was it? Oh yeah, like I think about it, and it's like, okay, so this movie plot device thing where it's like, oh, the thing works for her, but it actually is zapping her strength and it's making her even weaker. It's like, no. You said it granted health and wellness, but at a cost. Like, what the fuck is this monkey claw shit? And I'm sorry, we can talk to Mjolnir and can Thor have a word?
All the weapons are sentient now.
Honestly, can we not work?
Honestly, here's how you fix it for that one scene. All it should have said is that Mjolnir offers strength. You didn't have to. It's because they use the word health that we're going to fixate on it. But had it just said strength, with like no additional context to us as the viewer, it's like, oh well, it did make her strong, but at a cost. And sure. It's like, okay, and you could easily like bullshit your way around. It's like, well, it said strength, it didn't say health, it didn't say.
Well, but health is literally you are better.
It said health. It said if I recall.
But you know, it did say good health, but they also just like zoomed in on like 6 words of like an entire page.
Right, yeah, and it's like, is that all the research she did?
Like, that's all she did. Page in the middle and said, works for me. That's all I needed to hear, baby. Say less. And less is said. Yeah. That's another scene we were unfortunately that they cut apparently, and there's behind the scenes of it. We didn't see her first transformation, which sucks because I was actually excited. All intents and purposes, I like Natalie Portman in this movie better than the other movies.
Oh,
I think she was really good here. I really liked her as Mighty Thor, actually.
I don't saw any transformation from her, to be honest. I don't think we saw a first transformation or any sort of.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
No, she just kind of showed up as Thor, which is a shame because she looks great. Like her costume is dope.
It's a cool.
She performs really well for the most part, aside from that stupid shit about having a one-liner. But everything else, like, she was good.
Oh, I hated that so much. It's like, stop underselling the character. Like, stop it. She has stage 4 cancer. Can she please, like, have a moment with this person? Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, she has good chemistry with him. Like, I think she's good. I think she's very good in the role. It just kind of sucks that it's like
they keep undercutting the stakes, and it's infuriating because you want to invest in the character, but then it's like the script keeps telling you, no, stop doing that. Stop doing that. We got jokes. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I'll give them this one. When Thor realized she had cancer and told her to sit this one out, I'm like, okay, that was quite just let that one sit, and it works better because of it. Because she's like, oh, I'll get the hammer. He's like, no, you're gonna stay. I'm like, yeah, let's take that serious because apparently.
But like I said, it's really annoying because it's like, okay, like I was thinking like maybe what was it that I was thinking? Because it's like, yeah, this woman has this like debilitating disease. This is actually happening. There should be stakes in it instead of just like, well, when she has the hammer, she's completely fine. But then it's like, and like I said, going back to the character, like the actual character of these hammers that apparently have
all the weapons in the movie are sentient. Which, as a retcon, I think that's one of the few jokes in the movie that I think did work. Now, granted,
like it's funny to me, but then I just have that extra second of thought
what
of
happened
like,
before.
But the plot device is she's dying because of Mjolnir, and not because of it, but it's like that it's sapping more of her. It's the same thing with the god killer sword is making it more evil. It's like these sort of like extra things put on that you really don't need to, you know. But it just like. It's just, here's this device in case this device doesn't work, in case we need to revise things. That's what a lot of this feels like. It feels like revisions that they did, like, oh, we're going to kill off the character, but in case that doesn't work, well, let's just have this. Let's just shoot this extra scene where he gets up and walks off.
The hammer didn't need to be sentient for basically it to be like, oh, she's, her human strength is being sat by the hammer to make her essentially a demigod. The hammer didn't have to be alive in order to get that point across. Like, don't get me wrong, it was funny as shit, but it wasn't entirely necessary. Same thing for me. Like, yeah, it was funny watching Stormbreaker. Should have been fucking Yarnborn, but it's like Stormbreaker come around and just like being a jealous axe.
Oh, sure,
it was funny. They all made me laugh. It wasn't necessary. Which, I mean, I guess that. It just means it's a cop out for the writing wise, because they're like, well, if we're going to make one weapon sentient with the fucking sword, we might as well do it for all of them. And it's like to have this weird parallel sub narrative of like Thor being awkward around his ex and literally with his hammer, but also literally with Natalie Portman, but metaphorically with his hammer too. And it's like didn't have to do that to get in extra chunks of like relatable content. It just seemed,
it's like, oh, I'm talking about the sword, but am I talking about you? But am I talking,
which is weird because, like,
speaking of unnecessary jokes.
Say what?
Speaking of unnecessary jokes.
Goats.
Can we address the goats in the room?
God, those fucking goats. Here's the thing. Man. That joke wasn't funny to me in 2018. Back then, I'm just like, oh, that's weird that the goat is screaming like a human. What a quirky thing to see on the internet. Let's just get this across, because Marvel's done this before. It happened in Black Panther. It's happened in other things. If you're thinking of putting a modern meme into your movie, knowing damn well production, post-production, all of that process takes like another good 2 years, don't put it in.
Aren't they still putting flossing into movies? Did
they put it in this movie?
No, they put it in Sonic.
Oh.
Yeah. I think it was Sonic 2 or something like that.
With Sonic, guys, Sonic's a teenager. He's cringy already. That one, you get a slight pass.
But no, Eggman did it.
Oh, no, you're right. All right.
Last year.
Yeah, that doesn't get a pass, then. Never mind. Sonic did it. If Sonic did... No, Sonic did do it. That gets a pass. Eggman? No, it does not.
Yeah.
Because he did it in Sonic 2. You're right. So it's just like, all right, let the shit die. But, it's just like, bro, just... If you're thinking, 40-year-old man writing this script. If you think it's funny to kids, it's probably not.
What wasn't the whole, like, I think in the Sonic 2 movie, they were like playing like Uptown Funk or some shit. And it's just like,
thank you for referencing a song that came out 2 years ago by release of this.
No, look,
like
Uptown
5 years.
Funk, this is the Sonic 2 movie. What was that, 2013
You're
or
right.
some shit?
Almost like, 10 years ago.
Who's playing
Wait,
that?
I think it is 10 years ago. Wait.
Yes, at least like 9 years ago. Like nobody's trying to jam to that.
Like they played it at my boy 2014. It's an 8-year-old song. They played it at my boy's wedding.
Wow,
that's a wedding. You play random shit. This is a movie.
Sure.
In the year of our Lord, like 2020. Oh God.
Right, well, you're trying to have your finger on the pulse. You know? Like what was that one movie that had the song "Bad Guy" in it at the end? By Billie Eilish. That was like, wow, right at the moment, right on the crest of a song getting big.
You're talking about Brightburn?
I think so.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm like, you got that just in time.
Yeah, but back to this fucking movie.
Billie Eilish song?
Yeah, it did. It was in the credits.
Yeah,
it actually kind of fit.
But Yeah, but back to this movie because what was it you brought up, Aaron? Because you were talking about something.
We were
really
talking about
wanted to
Mighty
hit
Thor
on.
and everything, and I did because that's right. Because I want to talk about the siege on New Asgard. Because man, that fight would have been really cool if we could see it. This is the first time. I'm not even critical about the Black Panther fight. I could see that one, and people complained about that. I couldn't see the shadow figures, which is a shame because it's like they were made by like Bale and Waititi and Hemsworth kids. They were designed by them. I'm like, that would be really cool if we could see them. I get it. It's at night. They're shadowy creatures. It's lit by lamps and fire. But you control that. It's your movie. You get to control the glare. Like, why can't we see them?
Can I say on top of that? And can I say on top of that, like, what's worse than like, you barely see them, but then also you don't get any feeling of stakes as he's like, because like there's whole like 30-second moments where he's just kind of wandering through the scene to be like, what, Lady Thor, what? Who is that over there? And like nothing's happening. Like I thought it was gonna be like a thing where it's like, maybe he's gonna keep casually like knocking beasts aside. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like so he's like able to concentrate.
Got a whole conversation with Jane.
Warrior. These things aren't really. Yeah, but he's just kind of like able to make, and it's like nothing feels like it's in his way. It feels like there's no like nothing to move through. He's just able to go where he can, and there's just like, oh, what? Because remember the whole like it's a bit of a laugh where he says like, oh my god, you're Jane, and then like the that house falls down. But it's just like as I'm looking around that scene, I'm like, hey, where are the monsters? Like I know we're supposed to be having a laugh at like, oh, it's her. But where are you not in any danger right now?
While we're talking about him talking to Jane, his helmet, his outfit. God, that design it's been ugly since the. It's one of those things where we saw it in the trailer. It's like, oh, they're gonna fix this in post, and they didn't fix it in post.
It's so bulky. I like Mighty Thor's.
I like her helmet.
Look so much better. It's so clearly sleeker.
His helmet
it makes more sense.
Ugly.
It's just gaudy.
The whole fit. Brown Table has a whole video about like the flaws in Marvel's character designs, which I wholeheartedly agree with. Way too many fucking lines. But this is based off one from the comics, and this is a prime example of like maybe everything shouldn't be translated into 3D. Like, hold up, I'm gonna find it and send it to y'all because it is really a sit. I mean, Aaron, what are your thoughts and feelings? Because like most of Thor's costumes outside a couple sucked. They just weren't good.
To be honest with you, I may be the minority.
It's okay,
but for the movie, the one he wears mostly throughout the movie, I like it. I like the blue and gold suit. I don't like it when it has the gold arms and the helmet. That shit is ugly. But I like the base with the black circles. I think that looks pretty cool. But I was thinking the best suit he had in the movie, which he should have wore, is the one he wore at the beginning with the Guardians, with the red vest and like the comic accurate boots.
Oh, I
like that suit the most.
I can't remember what it's called.
Ravager
suit? Yeah, something like I did, or the Ravager type costume. Yeah, I liked his Ravager costume. Like that one, I liked the one where he was initially venturing about that just had like the brown in the middle and just the two medallions holding the cape. I like that.
That's the one he wore in Ragnarok, I think.
I think so, or it's similar to it. And then the one he had at the dead end, I really liked.
Yeah, with the black and gold.
Yeah, it was just like it was simple, it was sleek, and I wish we got a better look at it past 5. I don't know what it is. Marvel keeps dropping like their best costumes right at the end of the movie because they did the same shit with No Way Home. I'm like, oh wow, this is amazing, and it's gone. Well, never gonna see that shit again.
It's like they can't afford it for the whole time.
It's like, bro,
like, who do they need to give this costume
like my
back
dog.
to?
Who made it? Like,
you can display it as long as you want to, but you know what it is? As I think about it, I think that's what they go for. That's what they care about. The aesthetic. Oh, here comes the costume. Here comes the costume. There it is. What's the plot that's happening around it? Like
I know you have to sell toys. I bought the Valkyrie toy like as soon as it went on sale because I'm trying to make a Valkyrie costume at some point. Because I thought I liked hers a lot. I liked Mighty Thor's a lot. Thor himself, mid. And those are the ones that got the most toys. And I'm like, well, that's a shame.
That's how it goes.
But, I mean, like,
Kids love the blue. Kids love the gold.
Oh shit! So we talked about most of the stuff in this. And we talked about. I mean, I guess let's talk about the Shadow Realm and the end fight and all that jazz. I mean,
that shit happened so fast.
You're talking about
between them going to the Shadow Realm, getting their ass,
and then going back to the Shadow Realm,
and then going back. I'm like, what was that, like 4 minutes? Like, y'all get some Gatorade and go back. Like,
he got the stuff from Space Jam.
Was
he got that stuff from Space Jam and said, "Yeah, I got it." Wait, you got some stuff there, Mr. Thor?
No, I'm not gonna lie.
Y'all learn something in between, please. Like,
no, I'm not gonna lie. It's a cool looking freaking scene. Like, I was, my breath was taken the whole time. And then, of course, when there's like things like, it's a place that sucks out all light, and so whenever there's something that emits light,
that's where the color show, like the lightning bolts or Mjolnir.
Yeah,
that was really cool. That was really
so
clever.
Cool.
Because at first I was iffy on it VFX wise, but I kind of adjusted to it. I'm like, no, I really like this conceptually, and I like the fact that they actually had a fight there. We could actually see, and Valkyrie got some hits in before she just got benched for just the rest of the movie. I'm like, did you not get her for the full? That's a shame. I wish.
Yeah. Now.
I was just saying, could you not get her for that? That's another thing. Is just like they kept saying it's like, oh, Valkyrie, is. They said that in SDCC because they said, in this movie, Valkyrie's a king who's going to be looking for her queen. Where, bitch? I was excited because I'm like, oh, is she going to get with, like, Jane? Wouldn't that have been crazy?
Yeah.
If they got together, use that as guardian magic to try and cure her fucking cancer?
Right. That's what I'm thinking. It's like, do these people not have access to it? Because I'm assuming these people have been around for a while, right? Like, what is going on?
Like, we didn't check any of the ancient textbooks that we could pull off before Ragnarok happened. There's no magic users other than Thor and his mama. I know she was a witch, but no one else learned any fucking thing. No secret elixirs that said, hey, let's see what happens if we combine this with Look, I'm gonna air my real life out for a second. Like, I get it. Maybe you don't want to be disrespectful to people that has suffered from cancer. I have lost. Look,
right.
I'll tell you this right now. I lost all 4 of my grandparents to cancer. I lost my grandmother the day after one of my fucking birthdays. I saw her. I know what stage 4 leukemia looks like. I would not have been upset, bro, if you had a magic potion that got rid of the cancer. It's okay. It's all right, bro. I wish I had that shit back in 2018.
Oh my god! And can I say, like, okay, so how the scene starts? It starts with like them going towards the planet, and then they wreck into the planet because it's closer than they think it is. And you know what's funny? I actually had a moment of thinking when I watched the movie. I laughed a little harder than I was expecting to because I thought those goats were gonna get killed.
That'd have been great.
Like,
wouldn't that have been the perfect time to kill them niggas?
Yeah. Because it's like, how the hell would they have survived that? Like, they jammed face first into the freaking
big goats. As far as we know, they're not like magic. Yeah. They're just big. They yell a fuck ton.
Yeah, but it totally survives, and I was just like, oh, like it's like it kept happening where I was like, and like I think there was another time where like something is about to land on the kids, and it totally looks like it lands on.
Oh yeah, but
Thor was underneath, and I was like, stop doing this.
Like bro, kill a kid, have some nuts, grab your nuts, kill a child.
Purely there to sell toys, because when they first go to Asgard, you already see ships flying on their own, going off and doing shit. So the fact that the goats were there to pull the boat is bullshit.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, so they could.
And then the way the scene ends, where it's just like, oh, let's get out of here. Lift up my son. Well, wait a minute. So. It's like he said, call the axe. Call the axe.
He keeps trying to open his fingers. That was funny. he tried to get his hand to open up. He's like, no.
But then the question becomes, oh man, how do we get out of this conundrum? What's he gonna do? Like, because he can't call the axe. Because if he calls the axe back, then he'll have access to it. But then he calls the axe back, and it just happens to do like a big sonic boom that blasts everything back. And it's like, oh, so the tension of calling the axe back. They ended up having to do it anyway.
But also, he just took the axe from his hands. He just held on. Really hard.
And then the next second, it's like, yeah, they're like, all right, let's get out of here. He puts his hand up, and then like there's a lot of scenes in this
It's
movie
convenient.
where it's, like,
it's just
the way
plot
they
convenience.
cut the angle real quick. Yeah, it's like somehow his hand is aiming up, but it's like, okay, I guess it has a long handle. Somehow Gore is able to grab at it when they're like jumping up. And it's just like, okay, I guess. And then isn't there a scene where like they're fighting? I remember seeing, the scene with Valkyrie having the lightning bolt
And that was
Gore
dope.
having like the sword. But like it's cool kind of look, but as soon as you pay too close attention, like it like so clearly looks like they're avoiding hitting each other. You know, like when you watch like a fight scene, you're trying to be like, oh my god, if he hits it on that, what? How's he gonna get him if he goes there? And I've seen so many like Captain America fight scenes where it looks really good because you're like, oh wow, oh so that's what really would happen if he tries to flank him on that side, if he gets him on that side.
There's there's
that's
tension and weight to it because there's purpose to the fights.
Yeah. With this, it kind of felt like I did enjoy the fight happening. I think the wider choreography when you see like them fighting this bigger thing over here versus the shadow thing over there, and the mixing over, I thought it was kind of cool. But when you saw like the actual hand-to-hand stuff, it kind of seemed like the narrative flow of the action didn't seem like it was as well rehearsed, which kind of just kept bugging at me. But like I said, but then how the scene actually ends is like, okay, then after all that, well, the tension was, well, he can't have the axe called back to him or else he'll have it. But then he calls the axe back to him, and then the tension becomes, oh, now that he has the axe, well, at least we can get away. But no, he was able to get to him. So after the axe was given to him, that made him get pushed back so that he wouldn't be able to fight him. Then he's just able to get it anyway. It's just like
he got it just by holding on. That's what I think is funniest. But
like it literally was like bitch, like hard eyes, motherfucker, surprise, motherfucker.
Like he wasn't entirely trying to get the axe, whole shit, and
Thor not. Yeah, is Thor not stronger than this man? Like, was he not like emaciated
would have
in
made
the desert?
sense.
Like not
if he
2
was
days
like,
ago?
If Gore was holding on to the sword and you saw it like root his feet into the ground, so he was basically immovable.
Sure.
So he's just like he really can just hold on forever, and then Thor has to let go because he has to get Jane and Valkyrie back. He's just like where you just like see the resignation where he's like prioritizes his relation. Like right. That makes sense. It's just tiny tweaks. It's just tiny tweaks.
Just make it like a surprise.
Where it's just like fuck. Do I let go and let him have this, or do I do it for my friends? And Gore could goat him. He's just like, let go. It's like either hold on to the axe and kill me, or let go and let your friends die.
Yeah, choose vengeance.
Yeah, or love. Choose love or vengeance. There you go. And then you can have that come around when they get to the Eternity Realm, and you have Thor say back to him, you can choose love or vengeance. God damn it, we giving away free game.
The thing is, this shit is like right there.
Go ahead, Aaron.
That's how I feel about Doctor Strange.
Nigga, we're not gonna go there today.
We ain't going there.
Not again. That was 3 hours we ain't getting back.
Am I the only one? I feel like I haven't seen anyone talk about this online, but I was a little bothered. Not supremely, but just a little bit that they didn't commit to making Jane bald from like.
I felt weird about that too. I'm like, bro, she can rock a wig. Give her some weave. Like who?
I'm like, bro,
for God's sake, Natalie
I feel a little fucked up saying this, but I'm like, I feel like they should have done this to make it more parallel. I'm like, did they not want to make her bald and frail so she wouldn't be compared to Gore?
Well, isn't that the whole point? I guess what they would have had, because they would have had to like de-muscle her, because remember she got ripped to be Mighty Thor.
Bro, if they don't take this shit back to 2011 and give her the skinny Steve Rogers treatment,
they just get Eugenia Cooney to be the body double. Damn, that was fucked up. But I'm saying,
but like Natalie Portman's buff as hell.
No, but you're exactly. No,
they could have
you're right.
Her, like,
you're right, because like I kind of because when I looked at her, I'm looking at her forehead the whole time. I'm like, the hair not looking thin enough for stage 4. Look, not right. Like
right.
Or if you want to have her have hair for most of the movie, then reveal it's a wig, like to really hit home the fact that she's like, no, this
like I can say this from experience. Like my one of my grandmothers has stage 4, and she didn't like lose her hair, but She also lived 2 years and they gave her 3 months, so she built different, nigga. Like she's the mighty grandma, but it's like this is Jane Foster. Like, don't get me wrong, she's a woman of science, but she would have had some clumps or some shit. Like she didn't have to have a Tyler Perry wig, but you know.
Was it show us the stakes?
Yeah.
Show us the stakes. That's what all of these conversations are coming back to. Give us stakes.
Yeah. They wanted to make this parallel, or at least Gore did, the fact that they were both two people on the verge of death who had a weapon called to them, and then they gained powers because of it. And I think that the obvious thing for them to have done is to have made her also frail and bald, and this thing makes her powerful and strong.
And that. Oh, I at least I remember hearing someone
in the suit. She's
there. There you go.
Yeah, and maybe have a moment where it's about mighty Thor giving up her power to help her daughter to help what's his name's daughter, which is brought back, right? Like make that a more direct parallel of what her sacrifice is in giving that up,
Yeah. And if you didn't want to make her bald and skinny because you didn't want to scare the kids, maybe don't make this a kids movie. Because it's
talking about cancer and just like
about
fucking intergalactic serial killing,
planetary
level serial murders.
I feel like it kind of happens because like with the way the movie ends, it is like, how does this even happen? Because I feel like it does kind of happen, right? Doesn't she end up? His daughter, his name is Love, I think. Because didn't we say in the movie, we're like, wait,
the whole shit, we're just like, did they say her name? Up until the...
They didn't. That was my first thing out when the movie ended. I'm like, did they say her name? Also, something that bothered me out the gate was the fact that Jane died, and in the previous two movies, her character is so tied to Eric Selvig and Darcy, but yet we don't get to see their reaction to the fact that Jane died.
Here's the thing. Thor knows them. He knows them.
He literally knows
I know him. Like, I know this man. Like, which I'll give them that. Darcy was like, for the all of minute that she was there, she was played seriously. Her scene was like nice and well measured as someone who's a character I've always enjoyed. I've always liked Darcy. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad that.
I didn't like her.
Okay, but I'm glad that they let her like just be serious for a moment. And just be like, hey, my best friend has cancer. So it's like, I'm not really going to make any jokes to undercut. Like, for the most part, they took the cancer shit seriously, but it's like,
they let her have a character moment. Like I said, there are good scenes in this movie. Like the scene where he comes in and like clearly the Guardians of the Galaxy are less powerful than him, so they kind of hang a lampshade on the fact that, well, once he comes into the battle, it's basically like all done. But here's the joke of, well, with that power, he can be overpowering, and then he ends up destroying the temple of the people that he's defending, right? So it's like you know what I'm saying? There's a little thing in there where you're kind of setting up this thing of like, here's this man who's super powerful, and what's he really doing with it? Is he really, taking responsibility? But like playing it, as a bit of a joke. Like, and I think the first scene actually did a really good job of setting that up and like still having a good fun moment. You know what I'm saying? But it just felt like it didn't like play out as the film kind of played out because it got so wonky with giving you real stakes. Perfect examples, like I said, with having two characters, Korg and Zeus, in the same scene get like killed, and they're just fine.
Yeah,
and it just becomes like,
we could have let Korg die.
If nothing's gonna happen,
we could have let Korg die. I'm gonna keep. I like Meek better, anyways.
Dude. That show they had no balls. They had no balls.
Let me pitch an alternative movie to this with the same elements.
Go for it.
What if a Thor who's lost, who's so tired of losing people, at the beginning of the movie finds out that Jane has cancer, and the movie is about Thor and Gore both racing on the quest to eternity.
Okay, now there you go.
There you go.
Because remember, wait, isn't the whole reason why she has the hammer in the first place is because Thor accidentally said, like, keep her safe, and the hammer interpreted as this.
Yeah, he put a...
And so it's like, if they would have made it a more active agency in doing that, that would have had more given more weight to what was happening. Yeah, instead of it being like, a magical quirk. She accidentally gets Thor because he said this
he
thing
put an
a
enchantment
certain
on
way.
him because his mom's a witch and he can talk to the hammer.
Sure.
I mean, no, that's just what happened in this movie. That's how she got it. Like, I'll give them that. They at least explained how she got it. Like, he put an enchantment on the hammer to always keep her safe. So it made her worthy, essentially.
I will say I did like that whole scene.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like that.
Oh, that was actually good. Yeah, probably the best part of the movie.
Yeah, like we got to see what led to the downfall of the relationship because we never really got that context in Ragnarok.
And they never, I don't think in that scene, I don't think they really undercut it with a dumb, like, too stupid of a joke.
No, not really. And it was Korg who was telling it.
Yeah, and it was fun and lighthearted, but it wasn't like, it didn't undercut what was happening narratively. So, like, yeah, that was a good sequence. But I don't know, it just feels so unsatisfying when you have this character that is, it's an enchantment, it's put on, it's going to help her, there's all the reason, but she's going to be dying still because they don't have any control over this thing. And it's like, well, wait a minute, you just magicked her being able to have it, but you can't magic getting around her still dying, because the whole reason she gets it is because she's dying. And if she's still dying, regardless of whether or not she gets it, what's the fucking point of getting it? Like, that's the thing that kept, like, rolling in my brain. I was like, because I was thinking, oh my God, it's really serious. She's got cancer. Oh, wait, she evaded it. And now she doesn't have cancer when she has this great hammer. And I thought maybe there was going to have to be a choice that she has to make, that she kind of gives up that hammer. And, like, she's now going to be weak, but maybe she's saving the universe by giving up that hammer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think going off what you're saying, wouldn't it have been dope if, like, she powered down and, like Aaron said, you see her, like, bald and weak. Again, not saying that she can't be a strong, empowered character, but I mean, more so in a dynamic sense of just, like, seeing her humanity and her vulnerability. But it's like, you see her just downtrodden and damn near hopeless, almost mirroring how Gore was in the opening, and then Valkyrie just walks in, and that's the encouragement that she's getting from. It's like girl power, but not in a physical way, but it's just like, hey, sis, I get that you are struggling right now. I know what it's like to be helpless. I lost all of, like, my sisters in combat, and I thought I was alone, but you're not alone. You have me, you have Thor, and you have yourself. The same thing is, like, your strength is not just from that hammer. You're strong inside too. Right. And so, like she sees her right after she transforms down versus seeing her jump between transformations and do, like, then you can do the speaker joke or whatever. Because it's just like, hey, now you can have your moment of levity because you have a moment of, you bring it up to the levity. You have that down moment.
Yeah, but
earn it.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. The whole, like, the hammer helps her, but is also still killing her. It just feels slightly too much of a convolution of the plot. You know what I mean?
It goes back to just because, like, had they cut out basically explaining what the hammer was supposed to do and why she sought it in the first place, yeah, it wouldn't have given context. But then you're like, well, but we can't go back and say it says it gives you health. That's the which kind of contradict. Like, it didn't bother me that much, but yeah, I can see how to the average person that's just a contradiction. Where it's like, well, how is it giving you health if it's killing you, sis? If it's speeding the process up.
That's the thing. It's yes. It feels like a thing, a ticking clock writing thing instead of an actual trying to figure out how to pay off these dynamics.
It should have said strength.
And and so we get to what happens. So the scene where they go to eternity. Gentlemen,
it was a cool set.
Get
beautiful gowns.
Your thoughts on how this plays out.
Okay,
go ahead, Aaron.
So when this scene, the scene itself, first of all, is cool to see eternity. But then
it is a great looking.
Eternity looks perfect.
Great design. I thought it was a little cheesy that Thor was like, the answer is very overtly and like very literally. Like the
really?
answer is love.
Okay,
Really,
Moulin
man?
Rouge. All you need is love.
All you
Love.
need is
Also-
love. Like,
Oh, but listen, also, I'm sorry, man. I know that they all wanted their kids in this movie, and I know that they wanted it to be a family experience. I know Thor or Chris Hemsworth practically had his whole damn family from his wife and
I think
his
he
kids in
did.
this movie. But on that, when Gore was dying, bro, I'm like, I'm sorry, Chris Hemsworth's daughter. You ain't a fucking actress, dude. She didn't bring it. Like, not one tear? Not one tear for your dead daddy? Really?
and oh my god, the kids in the scene where he imbues them
Okay,
with lightning powers.
I kind of liked it.
I'm like, okay,
Just to see the little black
Like,
girl with the bunny rabbit with the laser shooting at him.
okay, here's my thing. When I saw that, like, that was like the tipping point where it's just like, this is too twee. Because now I'm just like, okay, so the girl with the bunny rabbit kid, like, so there is no threat. There is no threat.
You know,
that's my
the problem with that
like,
scene, because again, and Aaron and I have talked about this in our chat too. It's like, on paper, a lot of this sounds really dope. Like the concept of empowering the kids with the power of Thor. I think that's a really nice idea. I think.
Yeah, maybe if you had like a different levels of like monsters, and you see like there's like smaller monsters that are like hand monsters or something like that, and they're kind of like taking them out. You know what I'm saying? Like where you can actually see the difference. Part of it wasn't earned. It's like, well, we can't even see these things anyway. Some of these things look like huge fucking leviathans. Others look small. So you're telling me these kids are taking them out?
It goes,
you know,
it goes
like,
to what we were just talking about. It wasn't earned because we weren't seeing the Thor empower the kids without physical power. We saw him give them a little bit of just like, oh, don't worry, children, you're going to be safe, and I'm going to see. But that's not empowerment. That's just protection. That's not like, hey, we didn't see the kids like try to break out. We didn't see them all try to jump Gore.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't see Axel. I like the concept of Axel. I like the fact that Axel has his daddy's powers. The fact that he had a son that we just didn't know about for 3 movies. But whatever. But it's just like, we didn't see them try to be like, you know what, guys? We shouldn't wait around for Thor. Which goes back to Gore, because Gore, his whole thing about scaring the kid to be like, you know, they're not coming to get you, you know. They're not going to be able to save you.
Yeah, I thought they were going to play that up. Like, and the whole point is that he's scaring them and trying to
You should have had the kids be like, you know what? If they can't save, in case the adults can't save us, we can try and save ourselves. Is it corny? Yes. Stereotypical? Yes. But you have the kids being like, hey, you know what? I can be independent too. And I can work with other people if I believe in myself. And then Thor gives them the power. And then they're empowered. Then it means more at the end.
Film is like,
rather than having it be hollow and just, also, hey, it's cool. I have lightning powers now. I have lightning.
It's like lightning powers that I couldn't give to, you know, Black Widow or anyone else when we were doing this shit earlier in other movies.
Fuck them niggas.
Yeah, like
no, fuck them. Fuck them niggas. Those aren't my cousin's kids.
That's only.
Those aren't my neighbor's kids that I grew up with in 1600 AD or whatever.
And also, I was thinking, like, the very beginning of the movie is like, there is no afterlife. You were a fool. You were meant to worship me. But then at the tail end of the movie, like,
we already know that's cap because Moon Knight has an afterlife, Black Panther has an afterlife. It just depends who you believe in. Basically, look, if you believe in an African god, you're good.
Dude. It really is. This is like, man, they really should have just given the people in this universe a god. Like, okay, so go with this god because this is the one that actually does care about you and believe in you.
Black, you safe. I don't know about these white people, but like the ashiest, whitest motherfucker in the movie is the one that ain't going to heaven. The rest of us, we good.
Yeah, white people, what did y'all do?
I got an interesting concept that could have worked if they would have allowed more nuance to it. What if his intention was not only to kill gods, but to then convert other people to his side?
Make more atheists.
So then he wasn't just kidnapping kids, he was kidnapping other people. So then by the time we get to the end, it's almost like a civil war.
what,
Half
what
the
if?
people have gone towards nihilism, the
Oh.
other half have gone
Oh,
towards
that's a
Thor's
good
side.
point. Because what if some of the kids started believing him, and then he's like,
Yeah.
or has to convince the kids like, no, don't lose hope in me, and then you start to. Then it's almost like American Gods, which
But like the fact that he came back for them is like what reifies their,
yeah, like
faith.
Gore doesn't scare them. He just talks to him. He's just like, look, I used to be like you. I used to believe. I had a daughter that died in my arms, believing that God was going to look out for her, and I met God, and He spat in my face. It's like, yeah, you is basically just never meet your heroes.
Or
that's what this movie is.
What if he started killing kids? He's like,
He should have. He should have.
Nah.
Wish he would have.
See, okay, that's the problem with this. That's the problem with this movie. Is like he's not gonna do anything like that. Like that's the problem with this movie. It's like it's this really intense actor who's trying to have stakes and give weight to it. But it's like,
children.
But I know you're not killing kids in this Marvel movie.
Actually, and that might just be the root issue. He should have taken like people from Asgard. He should have turned New Asgard into the Shadow Realm. You know?
And then he has his devout followers, and then it becomes like, but see, that's too complicated of a choice. They're never gonna have that thing of like, oh man, do I have to fight my own people? But when it's the stakes of the universe,
but
and,
like
oh my
he
God,
already lost his land. What if you're not only losing your people from Ragnarok, now you're losing their faith in you. They're like, you've been off world for years, bro. Like, King Valkyrie is doing hard work, but we barely see her. She's doing Old Spice advertisements and shit. Now there's this new chick with a hammer running around. Like, we don't know what the fuck to believe. You know?
But, okay, can we just talk about the one wish that you get to have that nobody knew about before any of these other movies? I'm pretty dead, Lois, But yeah, I'm like, okay, so can you not wish for more than one thing? Does it cut you off before you get to say and? I wish I could live and my child could live. I wish I could live with my child.
Thanos, your ass real quick. He said, shut the fuck up. Like, one, not 1 + 1 + 1. Shut the You get one good wish.
Yeah, I'm
like, look, you woke me out of my nap in my mirror dimension of water.
Yeah, and wait. It was like whoever gets to eternity first. Yeah. And was I mistaken? Did they have to even run anywhere? I feel like an explosion happened and they just kind of woke up in the water.
Gore entered the door first, if I recall.
So wait, so it was just a door?
He needed the sword and then the Bifrost, which was activated through Stormbreaker. So that was what he needed. That's what he needed to open the door, and then Gore.
Wait, if I am correct here, the key to getting that eternal question answered was in Thor's hand the whole time. Yeah. So he could have gone there.
But to himself. Yeah, they thought it was a myth. So Gore was his entire thing about going forward with the wish versus doing it himself basically hinged on him hoping he was right because it was a myth. They didn't know if it was going to work or not until they were right in front of eternity. Yeah, where was the door? I'm trying to remember now. Like, wasn't it? Because I'm trying to they go into. I guess you could have there was an altar. That's where they were at. They were at Eternity's altar, or whatever it was. Because it was an actual physical location. Because that's where that last fight was at. Yeah, because that's what I'm trying to think of. Is like because it seemed like the way Zeus was talking was that you had to run somewhere. You had to get. We don't know how. We don't know how Gore found it. Which that would have been a good sequence of him torturing information out of other gods. That would have been useful so we know how he found where the altar to eternity was because we don't know how he found it, but it was there. Yeah, I want to go back and watch it just to see what actually happened because from what I remember, it feels like they just kind of arrive there, and there's never a. Hold on. I don't know how Thor knew, but yeah, I mean, and we can keep talking about the last sequence. I like the little Kingdom Hearts 3 dimension that they were at. I like that seeing Eternity in real life was cool. Love, I think, is Singularity. I'm not positive.
Or the comic being love, like the entity.
Is that an entity?
That's a new rock star.
That like.
Yeah, there's actual like physical embodiment of love in the Marvel comics.
Yeah, people
like how Eternity.
People think that she's the embodiment of Captain Universe. I think she's Singularity. I feel like one of the few people that's thinking that, who's from like on A-Force, and she's following the collapse of the multiverse, the silent being later called Singularity fell from the sky. She came after a Secret War, one in 2015. She was the result of like Battle World and shit, but she's basically she's a walking singular. She's a walking pocket dimension essentially. What the fuck were her powers? She had some wild ass shit.
Okay, now I'm going back to the movie. So basically, he's at an altar and that's what it is. That is one part that I did like, him using the dark shadow forces to control the Stormbreaker into opening up the thing longer. I actually did enjoy that, where it was like, okay, you see the actual darkness manipulating the weapon into doing its will. You know, like, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, no, that was cool. I mean, I'm trying. I mean, I guess that's the moment where like Jane and Thor and Gore are all in the hole, and Jane gives up her life and everything. So, that is something I actually like, that a villain technically wins in this movie. Like he technically does get what he was seeking. It's just the execution of that, worked out differently.
Did he? Did he get what he wanted? Did he?
He changed his wish. He wanted his daughter back. No, this entire it's the question we said earlier: do you want love or do you want vengeance? Which should have been a bigger plot point.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going back now. Now that I've seen, this is what happened.
He won.
So
he got what he wanted.
He goes to visit Natalie Portman's character, and then he kind of like goes into a wood and goes like, all right, and now I'm going to go to where they are. And then it just smash cuts to the world with a bunch of rocks on it where the kids are. And so there's no really like, it was basically, where was he that whole time when the kids were in that Tim Burton contraption? I don't know. Might have been right next door to the Eternity Gate, like, as far as we know. Like, we don't really get a good geography of, like, you know what I'm saying, where he is and how he's able to get where he's going. Yeah, now I remember. Because I remember in the middle of the movie, it was supposed to be Zeus to say, like, oh, you're not going to be able to just get to Eternity. You can't just get there. And it was just like, well, no, the gate is at this location, and he just went to that location and then just needed the thing to open the gate. But, like, he was still, it's not like it was, like, a place that, like, I was thinking, like, you have to run. I thought it was going to be some fucking, Super Mario 64 having to run up the flight of stairs that never stops. Like, some shit like that, you know what I mean? Where it's like, how do you figure out the puzzle, like... But yeah, it just feels like, he's just there. He was there. He was there. He just couldn't open the door quite yet. Like. But yeah,
got to see him kill some gods in Omnipotent City.
Man, that would have been such a dope scene. That would have been such a dope. Oh, like I said, if it would have gone with the thing that I was thinking, where it's like, he's actually on Thor's back or something like that, and because the dialogue they say like, he just wants to kill you. He doesn't know where we are and can't get to us. And it would have been a great scene to be like, oh my god, Thor, he's actually here, and I was responsible for bringing him here.
Then he just pops out of the shadow, because and that was a question you asked earlier, Aaron. Which it's a fair question. I pulled that answer out of my ass because I thought about it. But you had a question earlier when we were talking, and you're just like, hey yo, how did he travel to Earth, and how did he travel across the galaxy to kill all those other motherfuckers, allegedly, that we didn't see off screen? And my only guess is because, he can travel in shadows, and the galaxy is primarily darkness, so he literally traveled at the speed of darkness.
Actually, that's actually kind of a good answer. He travels at the speed of darkness.
Which Which, but that would, and I guess maybe that's why he couldn't go there because it was a city like the omnipotent city was like the golden city, a city of lights. But I mean, if he popped out of like the shadow of like underneath Zeus's skirt, would that not have been crazy if that was how Zeus died? You just see a sword just slide through the middle of him, and then he just drops, and just a bunch of shadows move around, and he just pops out.
It does feel weird. It does feel weird that Thor. I mean, he doesn't actually kill him, but if you don't watch the end of the movie, he technically kills Zeus. Like when you're actually watching him throw the thing. Like I remember my mouth actually like fell open. I was like, "Oh my god, are they actually gonna
damn
kill?"
That's cold as fuck because he used to respect him,
Yeah, exactly. He was his role model, so I was thinking, "Whoa, this is a big fucking deal."
He flips fast as fuck though. Like he went from like in less than 30 seconds, he'd have been like, "Oh, this is my hero." But
bro,
like,
that's like if Kobe Bryant met Michael Jordan and said, "Wow, you're great," and Michael said, "Fuck you," and he just shot him right there. It's like, damn, bro, that's a little fast, don't you think? Yeah, it's like niggas said on site for real. He said, "How's that for being a god of lightning?" It's like, all right, bro, shit. The fact that Zeus didn't even he didn't try to catch it or nothing, like, bro, you can't. You didn't want to move.
Like, so you're supposed to be the god of the gods, and you got killed with your own weapon.
I know we joke about Zeus being a bitch in Greek mythology, but also, where was Hera? Clearly, she didn't get invited to the shit because this nigga was talking openly about orgies.
No, they were talking about orgies.
He said, "You know what? You're not being invited to the orgies, but bring your bad bitches with you." It's just like, sir, where's your wife? Shut the fuck up. That's where she is. Shut the. She where you supposed to be, out of my goddamn business. Get the fuck out of here. Asking all these rude ass questions. Bast. Bring your fine ass down here. Oh, that was another thing that I said to y'all. A missed opportunity, which that'll tie into when we talk about Miss Marvel later. You know what would have been dope, which no one would have seen coming at all. If amongst all the gods and goddesses, and he's doing his introduction, we have got like the Bow God, we got Bast, we got this dwarf god. What one should have had Khonshu there. You could. He's a 3D. He's a 3D character. You could have just put him in. It was like, oh yes, Khonshu from the Egyptian pantheon. Even though it's been banned, he's still invited to the orgy. And of course, it's like we have this new god. What's your name? Ororo Monroe, goddess of the storm. Don't say anything else. Played by Yatida Badaki, and say nothing of it, and then just keep going. Niggas would have burned the cinema down. They would have set the shit on fire. I'm a fucking filmmaking genius, and these niggas don't listen to me. But it's just like, bro, let me write one of these fucking movies. Goddamn, I
mean, I think we've thoroughly
rewrote the whole movie.
Brought up just how, like how you could literally enhance this, and you don't even have to tweak that much. Just make the stakes actually matter.
What was the official title, like as a god? Because I know that like. There was a point that people did.
I believe it's what's her name? Because she has an actual name in Wakandan. Because Panthers is.
She's not the goddess.
No, she's.
I don't think that's it.
So the weather,
she's
right?
The Wind Rider. I know. Chala's is the Hatutsureze. I'm trying to remember what hers fucking was. Because she's like a Nigerian goddess, or revered as one. The Hadari Yao, Walker, the Cloud Walker.
That would dope.
I think we've pretty much said what we've had to say about the movie, right? Was there anything else to say? Because
I got one more.
I guess we need to talk about the post-credit scene too.
Just taking it back to
the two scenes.
Yeah, before we get to the post-credit scene, I got an issue with how Taika handled the Guardians. They're not the fact they're barely.
Nigga, Drax didn't talk.
They really dropped the whole.
Groot said more than Drax did, I think.
Right. Also, I said this in our chat, and I was like, maybe I'm the only one to notice this, but the fact that Groot's eyes looked really weird to me in the movie because he had white like in the same places that like people do. When he had like dark light brown eyes, but in every other iteration, this man has he has dark brown eyes or black eyes. I'm like, that's weird. Why would you change his eyes for no reason? Okay, but outside of that, the fact that Peter Quill and him, like that banter between them is gone.
Yeah.
Like there's no sort of rivalry for who's in charge. Also, the fact that this movie made the Guardians look like bitches, like they made them look utterly useless.
Yeah, I mean, they're assholes, but they're not like utterly incompetent. Like I know Thor is a god, but they're not entirely incompetent.
I mean, the problem with the movie,
the Guardians look like children.
The problem with the movie is that they basically went like, okay, we all know that Thor is super strong, and so next to them, you know, a couple of normal guys would look like nothing. So instead of like actually showing how well subverting that and maybe showing what their competence and, you know, intelligence, smart, street smart, something like that, they just kind of let the joke hang there of like, yep, he really would be stronger. We already know, audience. We know that Thor is stronger than them. And well, anyways, let's go to the next scene now. You know, like that's what it feels like. You know.
Also, Peter Quill didn't feel like Peter Quill in this movie.
He felt like Chris Pratt.
Pratt was phoning it in. He felt like Chris Pratt just saying lines. Like I don't know.
So basically, the way he's probably gonna sound in that Mario movie.
It's me, Mario, Luigi. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, God, I swear to God.
Because I feel like Peter Quill has like a certain cadence to the way he talks.
Yeah, because he's from
voice, and I feel like
he has a tiny bit of a twang to him. Because isn't he from like Minnesota, Missouri? Yeah. Missouri. So and he has a little bit in the other movies. It wasn't really as much here, but like
Storm War.
He got
He got a little bit of
a twang to it too. He's like, hey, first of all, I'm a hot-blooded American. I'm just like, yeah, like I don't know, he's. Maybe being around Thor just kind of drained him. He's just like, fuck, can we please get this guy off my ship?
He's just fucking, like you're the leader, fine, whatever. You're the, because, yeah, I don't know. I didn't like their dynamic in this movie. Okay, that's it. That's the end of me bitching.
Mm-hmm. All right. The first one was Jane going to Valhalla, and then,
no, the first one
was Hercules. Oh yeah!
Oh right, the one that
we were like
in the theater.
We were like, oh shit, Hercules! Like, who the fuck is that? None of us watch fucking Ted Lasso. It's Brett Goldstein from Ted. We're like, and then we saw his name in the credits. We're like, Brett Goldstein. Who the fuck is this nigga? We had no clue who this man was.
Some Israeli-looking dude.
He's a British actor named Brett Goldstein, who's on Ted Lasso. He got an Emmy for Ted Lasso. Wow. Good for him. Yeah, I've never heard of this man. He looks like a.
Like he looks like some guy, especially with how they try to do the reveal as if like, here he comes.
I had no idea who this man was. It's like, bro, you putting up like I knew it was Hercules because of context clues. I mean,
it's some guy.
No, the same shit happened to me with Clea in Multiverse of Madness because I knew it was Clea, but I didn't recognize that it was I didn't recognize.
Really?
I'm sorry.
This famous
bro,
as hell.
Come on. She looks like every white woman. Don't. No shit. No shit to Charlize Theron. She's incredibly talented. She's a good ass actress. But if you put Charlize Theron in a lineup with a bunch of other blonde haired white women, I would not know the difference. You could put her and Kirsten Dunst in the room together, and I would struggle.
Charlize Theron, Kirsten Dunst.
Oh my god, the Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie, like. Yeah, fucking blonde Zooey Deschanel. I would not know who was who, bro. Natalie Portman, fuck it. Like, I wouldn't know, bro. I'm sorry. I wouldn't know. I'm just like, oh shit, that's Clea. And that's for sure I know who that is. Like,
the camera is suggesting in a way that
like
means
Marvel,
I should.
You gotta hold on it longer than like 0.5 seconds for me to get who it is, because I didn't recognize it was Charlize Theron. I don't know who Brett Goldstein is, bro. I'm sorry. I don't
like have him say something that's important.
Like, he looks like Hercules, but I'm sorry. I don't know this man. Shout out to the Ted Lasso fans. Like, I don't know who this man is.
Look, and look, I'm sorry. Nothing is ever going to beat short of getting Arnold Schwarzenegger in a mocap thing to like stand up and be like, "Yes, I am here."
Now, if
like,
that was it,
you know, that would have gotten me to fucking pop. I would have fucking stood up out of my seat.
He had like a super roided out, old as fuck Arnold in there. I'd be like, "Oh shit, Arnold versus Thor? That's the fight of the century." Yeah, I'm ready.
Right?
But nah, you gotta. I mean, congrats to this man. Love to see another person get a check. I don't know who this man is.
Did anybody know he was gonna Hercules was
I
gonna
was hoping. Well,
movie?
when they said Zeus, I was hoping that he was going to show up right after, but he didn't. So,
but I was like, kudos to Marvel for keeping that one under wraps because these days,
like I figured he was going to show up with the Pantheon, amongst a bunch of other characters we'd recognize, but no.
Yeah, and also it's weird, like, but it feels like a bit of a step down because the build up in the movie is that Zeus is the god of all gods, and so who's gonna face him now that he's been shot through? Well, yeah, exactly. It's like, but I thought
you're not gonna get. We're not getting buff Russell Crowe.
You ain't getting Brolic. You ain't going.
Nah, I'm gonna send my son to beat his ass.
He looks pretty good.
Because what if that was the thing, right? Where it's just like, oh, I've actually lost a. He clearly hadn't been working out in a while. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he was off his game, and then he's like, "Oh, me and my son fit to hit the gym, and then we gonna get at you." Like that would have been dope. Like.
Yeah, I didn't think he looked that bad in the movie, but then looking at pictures of him, I was like, he's kind of skinny. Like,
he doesn't look bad. He just doesn't look like he is a direct threat to Thor.
Because Thor is big, McLarge, huge, and you need.
We saw Thor. We saw the camera was all up on his abs, okay.
Yo, I think low-key, I think Thor now might be bigger than Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, because he's training to be Hulk Hogan. But you know what would have blown our asses off if it was Henry Cavill that was Hercules.
What?
Because that's somebody I could see beating the brakes off of Thor. That would have blown us.
That would have been dope.
I think he's still trying to.
I know he's trying to hold on to Superman. I know he's doing The Witcher, but like somebody of like that caliber, if it was Henry Cavill that stood up, we'd be like, "Oh shit, Superman versus
Jason Momoa." You know what I'm saying?
One of those like notoriously big niggas, like.
I mean, look, if it was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson that got up, everyone would have been like, "We're seeing the next Thor movie. I don't give a fuck what happens."
No, but he reprises.
From the old Hercules. He's back.
Yes.
No,
Marvel.
You wouldn't because he's buff but small. Kevin Hart. I would have died. I would have died, right? You see Kevin Hart standing with a hammer. It's like, no, they fucking didn't. Oh my god. Is he gonna...
Yeah, no, these niggas didn't.
You're gonna beat him in his kneecaps. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
And then...
Well, now that we've ruined how good this movie could have been.
We got the other one. We got Jane and Valhalla. And then with the one cameo that did catch us off guard, Idris Elba. Because if there's one thing that man's going to do, it's get a check. Hey, man. Love to see a black man get some money. That was really just it. He showed up and said, "Welcome to Valhalla." They said Thor will return. And
yeah, man, I was really thinking about the sacrifice that she makes. Because what actually ends up happening there? Refresh my memory.
She walked through the gates of Asgard, and homeboy was just like, "Hey, you can come through if you." What?
Walked through Asgard.
So she wait. So she doesn't. But I mean, when she dies, does she give up the hammer to the girl?
No, Thor.
Well,
go ahead.
What happens is she. No, well, yeah. What happens is Thor tells her not to use the power, and then she's all tossing and turning in her bed, and then she comes to help, and then that was like she used the loss of her power, and then she dies.
Yeah.
The altar of eternity.
Yeah.
Then she goes to Valhalla.
Yeah. Now I remember. Yeah, she goes. Yeah, but do you see what I mean? Like they sidestep a possibility with the hammer. like with the idea
Yeah,
of the hammer
also, they
being
totally
passed down and having to
the hammer.
sacrifice herself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, she had to pass it down to somebody else.
yeah, if she had to pass it down to the girl, Gore's daughter, and then you have this thing of like, wow, now Thor has a responsibility to this young girl because of Natalie Portman's sacrifice. Like
Yeah.
that becomes so much more of a emotionally resonant moment where it's like, well, now I have to carry on this legacy, not only for Gore, who's a person who I thought was a villain, but now I see the compassion for, but also because of the duty to this woman that I love, and that makes a lot more of an emotional investment. Like, well, damn, maybe I do need to see the next movie, like, because he clearly has this, there's stakes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
I did think it looks a little silly given this 4-foot little girl, big ass Stormbreaker.
Yeah, there's also just like, so you're recruiting a child soldier.
I mean,
is that what's happening right now?
Is she immortal? Like she got some sort of power because we saw her glow in like galaxies and shit.
I don't know.
When love came back.
Wait, was it a power that he had?
Also had laser eyes.
They never gave any conclusion to the joke / storyline of the jealousy between.
Yeah, he just got both of his bad bitches.
Yeah,
he went poly, fucking poly weaponal and.
Oh, that's the real message of the movie.
Also, wait, does anyone remember what the fuck happened to Thunderbolt?
I assume he just.
I thought Valkyrie had it, but then she gave it back to him, didn't she?
She didn't come to the final.
Yeah, because she gave. I think I hope she kept it because I want that to be her weapon now.
Valkyrie wasn't there in the final battle.
Yeah, because I thought the point was that she needed a weapon to fight,
right,
to be on the same level.
But then she gave it to Thor.
When she leaves, she just
her own goddamn weapon, and then she went to. No, and then Thor had it in the final act because that's what he used to imbue the kids. They didn't show what happened. I hope she kept it because I like her with the thunder, the lightning. Oh yeah, that's another thing. It's a lightning bolt named Thunderbolt. Thunder's a sound. Yeah.
That.
Also, are we ever going to address this woman's alcoholism? Because they keep teasing.
Hey, look, man. Look, it doesn't matter where you are in the stars. You're a black woman. You got a reason to drink.
And also, she's like not like a celestial being, but like some sort of demigod to some capacity, right? I'm sure she can hold her liquor.
I believe that. She drinking whiskey right out the motherfucking bottle on some Meg Thee Stallion shit.
Right out the motherfucking barrel.
She built different, bro. It's like, but hey, man, she's a black woman.
And crunching them like they're cans up against her head.
She was a black woman in space. Now she's a black woman on Earth. She got to deal with Earth racism, man. Let that woman drink.
Oh, man. And is she a part of America? Is she like a senator? Is Asgard a part of?
I mean, she probably got diplomatic immunity. On some T'Challa shit. What?
Oh, is that what they have a sovereign nation, a micronation? Eh?
Yeah, it's on the coast of Norway. It's its own little nation. Yeah, well, I think we did.
Yeah,
I think we spewed all our feelings.
I have an idea for a rating system, where I guess you know how they do records, where you got like bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and the bottom I would say is aluminum. I would probably put this movie at like a bronze or a silver. There's room for improvement. It's not full blown aluminum. It's not plastic wrap. It's like a bronze. It's like a silver. I say like it's the first time I've walked out of a Marvel movie and said, I don't think it was for me. Look, if you like the movie, I love that for you, but it's I don't know, bro. It's kind of mid. I ain't going, which is a shame because I was really excited for it.
Damn, I don't know. The next time we'll be able to get to see a Marvel movie together, but I wish it was a better one.
I can't believe that this is the first time I'd say most of our like friend crew has all agreed on a movie.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, like when we all came out the theater and we're talking about it, I think we were all on the same page, but not in a good way.
Yeah.
right.
When you
We're
have
all
that moment
roasting
of
each
like,
other.
hey guys, did we all notice this
It's
was
like,
kind
hey,
of
bro,
bullshit?
we were all there. It was kind of mid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's pretty
that's a
mid.
damn shame.
It's not as bad.
All
as
right, bro. All right, now we not gonna do this.
Not going to relitigate. Well, let's talk about what about what's the
Miss
other
Marvel?
joint y'all wanted to talk about?
Yeah.
A better Marvel property.
Because I can stay
Okay.
for Ms. Marvel because I know the most about what happened with that because I actually watched all the way
let's
through.
slide on over to another Marvel property that was better than this one. I'm talking cash shit. Full spoilers. This Marvel season 1 wrapped up, and I thought it was pretty good. It's probably my even without my bias, I would say it's probably the best of the shows that they've done so far. With my bias, it's honestly about the same. I think they did.
Really? So this is your favorite? This is your favorite Marvel?
Yeah,
Disney Plus show?
but as far as the Disney Plus shows go, I'd say it's my favorite because I think it does. This one I think has done the best balance in terms of like doing the characters pretty well.
You know, I will absolutely, especially after seeing Thor: Love and Thunder. I mean, again, this is a TV show, so it had more time to just like flesh out the characters in general. But like, I'm thinking, I think the only other Marvel, Disney property TV show that I've really watched all the way through that wasn't the Luke Cage sort of joint was WandaVision. And while I
Yeah.
love WandaVision and the concepts and how it started with, the way it ended up like paying off those concepts ended up feeling like it was robbing it of its uniqueness and kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it was like great setup, but the payoff kind of like faltered. And with this, I felt it was actually a relatively consistent clip as far as just being a good show to watch, but also just in terms of being like a dope ass show to just have like not just like the general idea of
Yeah.
Pakistani representation, represented for people of color, but also it's like, but it was just a solid ass story that incorporated the reality of what Pakistani people have to live through. Like with the one scenes, the couple of scenes where they had to deal with Homeland Security coming into your mosque in order to snoop around and ask a couple of questions because we have reason to believe. And it's just like, oh, okay, we know what this looks like. We know that this is a little familiar. And oh man, what is the word for priest in the Muslim priest?
God damn it, not.
Because I really like that guy.
Is it Sheik?
The guy, he has the cap. I think so. Yeah, because he has the cap and the full beard, and there's like 2 times where he gets one in on the woman who's talking to him. That woman with the fucking Johnny Bravo fucking hair and shit. Where he says something where it's just like, they want to search the place because they're like, well, you fit the description, so let's poke around. And he goes like, well, I hope that he says some really like cryptic quote where it's like you have to think about it before it makes sense. And but it sounds religious. It's like, it's like, well, like I hope that not that God is on my side.
Oh yeah, I'm like, hey,
side.
yo, this might pull me back into the faith. What is this? He was spitting bars.
Yeah, and and the woman in the government organization goes like, "Oh, that's a nice Quran quote or whatever, but we don't have time for that." And he actually like steps back and goes like, "Well, that was actually Abraham Lincoln." I was like, "Oh," it's like, "Bitch, you don't even know your own American."
And I was wondering where I recognized her from. She's from she played a similar type of character on Orange Is the New Black. So I'm just like, oh, so you just play like uptight, hard ass law enforcement bitches. Like, I mean, Aaron, what were kind of your thoughts about the show, overall before you dig into things that work, things that were debatable,
Oh man, I think first and foremost, Alon Velour.
Yes. Oh my God, she's great.
From start to finish, she's the best, and her story is incredible. The fact that this is her first role ever. She found out that she got the role of Miss Marvel her last day of high school.
Damn.
And her life was just forever changed.
Congratulations,
Right.
your life
That's
is about
incredible.
to change forever.
Man, because she did a really good job. Like, it's what, when you watch a show and it's like, you start off watching a show and the main character is just some person, and then after you get into it, you're just like, oh, but I like this, but I want to see, are they going to succeed? I hope they do. Like when you realize, like, oh my God, I care about this person.
Oh, man, and I'm trying to think, like, we're like 36
Jesus
properties
Christ.
in, and I'm trying
36?
to. I think this might be the fastest I've become endeared to a character. Like Tony Stark is probably up there, and I really like Steve Rogers, but just like from like on board entirely, I haven't felt this way since Phase 1.
No, I agree with you.
And I think that the pitfalls of the story I can overlook them because of how much I enjoyed watching her and her family and her friends. And I was like,
oh man, and the
her
way
supporting cast is pretty strong.
Like the whole thing with her friends and her supporting cast.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is what a Spider-Man show should be like.
Oh man, right?
Show should be like.
Oh man.
Yeah. And I've never, out of all we're like 5-6 Disney Plus shows in. I think out of all of them, though it's not, I don't think for me personally, this is my favorite Disney Plus show. I think Loki ended up being my favorite, but like I've never wanted a season 2 more outside of Loki, but it didn't leave off necessarily on a cliffhanger, but just like I want to know the rest of this girl's story. Like I want to know what she does next.
What are the continuing adventures? Because it's like, oh, well, because by the time it comes, again, spoilers, but like the family finds out about her secret power, and it like, it doesn't ruin her life or anything like that. In fact, it's like, because it's a part of her family legacy, it becomes like a thing that brings the family closer together. And I thought that was a really like emotionally affecting moment of like, oh my God, her family accepts her for like, the thing that she has. And, it's usually the opposite. Like, oh, you have to hide and you can't tell anyone the whole time. So you're cutting out family.
And they also make the family finding out like a distinct plot point because she literally saves her own grandmother. Yeah, her
great grandmother.
So it's like Go ahead.
And I recently did a ranking of all the Marvel properties in Phase 4, and I had to really think about where I wanted to put this one. And I think for me, it landed at number 4. And I think it just edged out Moon Knight for the simple fact that, one, I really liked how they ended the show, and Midnight's ending was kind of mid. But also, if I were to look at the show objectively, I think for me it probably landed like a 7.5. But because of Amon Vellani, because of how much I love the characters and the supporting cast, it boosted it to that 8 out of 10 for me. But there's some plot issues that I didn't necessarily love, and like I think it suffers from the 6-episode syndrome of the Disney Plus shows. But outside of those things, I think it really elevated itself to be one of my favorite new.
Yeah, I think editions. It does. So when I say my favorite, I mean that more so in like, am I gonna rewatch it? I probably have like the highest of rewatching like this and Moon Knight. I think Moon Knight, actually, yeah, Moon Knight excels in a lot of like amazing ways, like Oscar Isaac's acting wise, completely fucking nuts. But in terms of like embodying character and adaptation quality, I like. And I have a bias because I'm a huge, Kamala Khan fan and everything like that. So, because I've been following her since the beginning, so I know, Aaron, you wanted my opinion because there's a lot of changes they do, but honestly, because they double down and follow through on them, I am more willing to accept it, particularly because I'm a fan and because I know how they already deal with that in the so with the comics, she's an Inhuman. She has shape-shifting powers. She mostly uses it to so she pulls her ability to shapeshift from different forms of herself in the past and in the future. And in the comics, she's recently actually run into seeing multiversal versions of herself. So because the show doubles down on a lot of what makes her so different in this version, but they capture her character adaptation-wise, I'm actually completely fine with all the changes. Like, by the end of it. At first, like, when I saw the trailer, I was iffy. Even down to her costume. I didn't really like her costume, but in the context of the show, and how they explain it, and how they add context to it, I like it because it adds a lot more meaning to it. They follow through with it.
Yeah,
you feel that you're grounded in a world.
Has more. I think her costume in the show,
yes,
Loki has more meaning in it.
No, I agree.
The
because in the comics, it's actually a funny meta joke that I felt really stupid for not getting. So, if you know Carol Danvers' old Miss Marvel costume, everyone would always make the joke that it's because it's like it's a one piece. They'd say, "Oh my god, it's a bathing suit." People would call it the bathing suit costume. It would have the giant, yellow lightning bolt. And so Kamala's costume is actually just a modified bathing suit. But for Muslim girls, that's why it's very conservative. So that's the joke. But in this one, it down to the broken necklace forming the lightning bolt, and if you look at the lightning bolt, it's folded into the lightning bolt. It's folded metal. It's a folded symbol. It has to do with her Pakistani.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So by the end, I'm okay. They all justify their own existence in a way. All the changes kind of justify themselves in relation to the narrative or in relation to her character. So I let them slide because I'm okay, that's an interesting thing you did with it beyond what it initially was. So it's they're doubling down really hard on the changes. So I like them because I'm okay, this makes it actually distinct, not just change for change's sake. And I think that's a lot more interesting because I'm okay, now that means you're gonna do more with that. Now, granted, my favorite kind of middle ground is honestly in the Avengers game, they have a Pakistani-inspired Kamala Khan Miss Marvel costume. And I still kind of wish they would do that. I'm hoping they might do that with her down the road or in the Marvels or something. But what we have now, and given the context, I like it now. Because at first, I didn't like it. I didn't like the power change at all. I didn't like the fact that she wasn't the Inhuman thing. I was I need to see what they do with it. So by the end of it, I'm okay, I like that. I actually like that quite a lot. Because as someone that suffered through the Inhuman show, the only reason it's really important for her to be an Inhuman is, one, she has a close relationship with the royal family, and two, it ends up serving kind of a narrative purpose, but they don't exactly go that same narrative purpose with this show, but they do kind of do their own thing that is important. In the comics, it's more about her learning to appreciate and value the fact that she is different, that she's unique. She's a young Pakistani Muslim woman in America, and that has all its challenges. Then you found out you're additionally different by being this superhuman, not or powered up non-human species. So now you're a minority and a minority and a minority and a minority. So you have all these different labels.
And also, I love the idea that it's there's a level of her. Well, I want to help out. I want to do something. I want to make change. And it's well, if you do that, are you going to be causing trouble? Because now, you're trying to make that change. You're trying to do something. Right. Well, now people are sniffing around, your mosque. And is that just going to bring trouble?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So now there's that question of should she do that in a world where she is a targeted minority?
And in the comics, it's that this parallels to the character Zoe, who's popular American traditional blonde hair, blue eyed white girl. And so the world is gonna, and she's she has, as black people we can relate, but it's a different type of nose, a different.
Can you relate?
Yeah, so it's learning to appreciate the things that make you different and make you unique are to be celebrated, not to be not to culturally assimilate, but to culturally embrace. And
being her own woman, she is you know what I'm saying?
And they do their own thing with that, and I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, she is a Pakistani woman. You know what I'm saying? She a full woman. You know what I'm saying? She's a little thick girl, and she's from New Jersey. You know, she's dealing with
it's
a lot
like
of
you're different from like the average, but it's also kind of like, well, the modern image of an American is kind of going away from.
Yeah, that was. I mean, all along that was a propaganda image sold by a white patriarchal idea of what normal is. It's like, well, this is what a person is, but it's like, well, wait, there's all these other
Yeah, it's
people
like
here too. Why do they
the
not
average
know?
American by
You know.
like 2030 is probably going to be mixed with something or descended from somewhere or uh some non-Christian belief, or they're not going to look how Zoe does. They're probably going to look a little bit closer to how Kamala does. And you still are American because you still like, you eat food local to your city. You still go to sports games that you like.
Yeah, this is your culture. These are the people that you know. These are the locations
Yeah,
that you
your
call
culture
home. You
is
know.
not purely assimilated. It's now this hybrid of wherever your family and historical roots are with also American things. So,
The incorporation of what you are with where you grow up and
yeah,
where your
you're
family
going to
is
be,
rooted. Yeah.
you're going to be this ever-changing amalgamate. And I think that's beautiful that, comic-wise, but also in this show, like it exposed me and probably a lot of other people to more things about just like Pakistani culture, the fact that they speak Urdu.
Love that. I love that there's so much, like, in addition to there being like, I mean, there's a couple of pop song 80s jock jams that feels a little bit groany. You're like, oh, they played this one, of course they gotta play this one. But like when they would like just play a whole, like, this movie was, I mean, this show was just like loaded with clearly like, Pakistani inspired like
Yeah.
instruments and music and artists. And so it's just like, yo, I really feel like I'm in this neighborhood of like
Yeah, and,
music,
and,
you know what
and
I
Moon
mean?
Knight did that too, and I'm really glad of that. I really like the production budget on this show. They put a lot of money behind this that I was surprised, honestly. Like looking at the background editing of like the first and last episode in particular. They put a lot into like those infographics and those like moving panels in the background, and how every episode has like different ways that they're showcasing Miss Marvel. Just the title card alone, like a lot of hard work was going in.
Oh yeah, like you want to look at the credits. It's so
Yeah,
like
it's just like
vibrant
it's a
and colorful.
very pretty show to look at, and like even with her powers, I thought her powers were actually designed pretty well with the weird kind of like when she first.
I like the
Yeah.
purple glowy thing. Like I don't know if people think it looks cheap or whatever, but like it has a charm to it where it's just
Yeah,
like I want to
and
look at it.
they
You
were.
know?
I think what they were worried about, which we see at the end when she actually goes ambiguous and uses the traditional type stretchy powers. I think they were thinking that the skin colored thing would look silly. I'm like, seeing how it looked in the blue, I'm like, you could have done that and have it be flesh toned, and it would have looked fine. It wouldn't have looked that crazy if this is how it looks with like these blue hologrammy crystal like effects. I'm like, I think it would have looked fine skin tone, and I'm kind of hoping the powers start to go kind of like into her and they manifest that way, and that's how she gets them. But no, it's just like, but yeah, it's like I came to be cool with the powers. The plot is interesting. You get introduced, like the villains are sort of villains, the semi-antagonists or the clandestine, a bunch of fucking nobodies that no one has heard of.
Yeah. Oh wait, what is that? Again, this is the problem with Marvel movies. It's just like, wait,
Bro,
who are these
I'll tell you
guys?
this.
What are they
I
doing?
hadn't heard of these people. That's how I know these were They had like a 12-issue run, I think, in the 90s. These are actual, like, there's like, A tier, B tier, C, nigga, like H tier. Like, I had never heard, like a Jinn.
Yeah.
I've heard of Jinn before, just in, mythology, and different, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Muslim.
Oh, just
Yeah.
to clarify, to talk
Yeah,
about
go ahead.
clandestine and that whole storyline. Apparently, they're actually not Jinn. Like the writer clarified that. Like No, they're the clandestine, but Jinn was just one of the myths that people would consider them to be falsely.
Anyone with power, because
okay.
they said Thor
but,
would be seen as a Jinn by their metric.
Yeah. Did you read the?
No, I didn't get a chance to. You want to go into that a little bit?
Okay. Yeah, so it was interesting something that she had said because the interviewer kind of asked her about the fact that so you set up these people the clandestine and they were supposed to their whole plan was to take over to bring their universe to our world, but then that ended up not happening. And she's like, yeah, a lot of stuff was left on the cutting room floor with that storyline, and it was more so meant to highlight the difference in family between how Kamala's family operates versus how Cameron and the clandestines operate as a family. And it's supposed to be this mother kind of in like this emotional conflict, the clandestine mother in an emotional conflict with Kamala, and the representation of how their two families kind of view connection and love and whatnot.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, like a toxic family relationship as opposed to a positive family relationship. That's actually really interesting. And yeah, I do feel like I saw the shadows of that without really digging as deep into that. But again, that's something you can probably delve into more in like the next season or something like that.
They more so retooled it on kind of explaining the background of the clandestine and showing Kamala more of her culture, because they didn't directly say, but they implied that was her first time ever going to Pakistan. And by the end of the show, it's like, but her both embracing the nerdy superhero aspect of her and the Pakistani inside of her.
Yeah.
And her fusing the two.
Yeah, no, I think that's great, and I think that kind of goes back into the themes of like being able to be who you are fully. And I think another thing that they captured really well, shows like this, fucking what's the one that Never Have I Ever, which that's Indian focused, but that's another show that I really like. But just being able to just like, because I think that's probably something a lot of teens in America that are like the children of immigrants probably struggle with to some capacity, is like, in trying to find your own identity, how do you balance being in these different worlds? Because the world is going to see you as one thing, your family may see you as another thing, and you're just trying to figure out, what the fuck am I? And you're a hybrid of it all. It's like, yeah, you'll be Pakistani, but you're also an American, and now you're like this person with these powers and some shit that blew me away at the fucking end. I'm trying to think what else. The supporting cast is really strong. It's pretty fairly ripped from the comics. I wish Bruno had longer hair. But that's more of like a nitpick than anything, because I'm a stickler to comic accurate hair of all things. It's a really weird petty thing that gets me, but they also kind of did arm break, which is a reference to in the comics. I think his arm got broken by Miss Marvel, and he actually wound up going to an advanced school in Wakanda. I wonder if they're gonna end up doing that. Right now, they haven't gone to like Caltech, but I wonder if they're gonna pick up on that Wakanda thing from the comics. The comics are fucking weird. Like, one of her major villains is a giant, evil version of what's his name? Not Thomas Jefferson. Light bulb nigga. No.
George Washington?
It's an inventor. What's the name of the guy that discovered the light bulb? White guy.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an
Edison.
evil giant peacock clone of Thomas Edison. So, like, the comics are really fucking weird, but this show is actually pretty straightforward. Like, Red Dagger showed up. He doesn't show up for a hot while. So I thought that was cool. That was a cool nod. I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was, because I saw the episode. I'm like, oh shit, Red Dagger! And then I looked at the title. I'm like, oh, well, it's called Red Dagger. So, I mean, who was right there? But no, I like the Pakistan adventure portion of things. Yeah, the clandestine didn't get a crazy amount to do. Really?
Yeah, again, it's a similar issue with a lot of these Marvel things, where it's like you don't really feel the weight and presence of the quote
yeah,
unquote
and this is a show where it's
picture.
like Kamala doesn't really have like she has a couple villains, but she doesn't have like a lot of recurring rogues. So I'm like, I was wondering how they're gonna do the villains, and they just kind of made some up. But even still, I'm just like,
it's just like a vague, nebulous government types that aren't using guns. They're instead using like
yeah. They were just sound
the
cannons, which I'm like, well, that's good because it's like sort of non-violent. Which I'm glad they weren't just like use bullets on children.
I get it.
Thanks for that one. But,
yeah,
not a good look.
Not a good look.
Yeah, it's just.
But yeah, I did like her powers and the variation and usage of her powers. Like the first time you use it, it's like to catch someone and to have like platforms underneath them to walk on. It's like that's such a cool power that you can use in so many instances, right? Like there's so many applications for what you could do with that. Of like, yeah, and I think they do a good job of like playing with it, where like people fall and trying to get out of the way, and then when she's trying to like run somewhere and the things just get underneath her, it's like this is just really fucking board the platform.
And I like the fact that like she doesn't get great at them overnight. We see her train. She like by the end she has it down pat. But yeah, we see her like struggle with it and get better.
But at the first time she
like we see her progress into mastering her powers, which I think that's just good storytelling.
Yeah, in fact, I think at the end, you hear the boy who gets rescued earlier. He goes like, "It's like, oh my god, she saved the day. How come she couldn't save the day better? Before
I broke my leg,
foot broken. Yeah, before I got my foot twisted or something like that. Like he's still fine, but it's still that sort of like I still twisted my leg a little bit, so that still kind of sucks,
But no, I mean, I guess we can. I mean, Aaron, did you have any additional thoughts before we talk about that end part?
So I kind of went back to the article and I reread it and I put it in the chat for you guys if you want to take a peep at it. But apparently, and I don't remember this I think it was episode 5, or I can't remember if it was episode 5 or 4, but apparently that whole interaction was where she was supposed to learn that she uses her powers more defensively than she does offensively, and it's only kind of as a last resort kind of thing. And I think that was something that was shown, but not explicitly like stated or like not hammered home. But I think that's what part of the Pakistani arc was supposed to.
That seems more. That definitely seems more subtextual than like textual. Because she was using it a lot to like protect people and help people. Right. It wasn't really like breaking shit, really.
Yeah, like the first time she uses it, and it's like the people just happen to miss it, but it's her reaching out her hand to like catch the girl as she's falling. So yeah.
Go ahead.
I was thinking about it in terms of like, I feel like it's a better promise of what they kind of do with Captain America, where it's like, well, it's a shield, it's supposed to be used to, defend and protect. And it's like, yeah, but he like throws that shield around a lot, and it's like
he has definitely killed several people. More than that, he's
yeah, exactly. He's stabbed some motherfuckers, like yeah. And so I love the idea that like this is a power that truly is about defense. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I will say by the end of it, I like that for the most part we did use it did feel like a culmination of the 6 hours that we had come to watch. I like that Red Gagger was included inside of it in a small part. I liked that we were finally back in New York. In a weird way, the small scale of it kind of reminded me of Spider-Man Homecoming in the sense that it wasn't this big threat that was about to take over the world. I think maybe
it doesn't make sense because she doesn't really fight world-ending shit on the most shit that it messes up is like the state of New Jersey. Like she's not a cosmic level hero the same way that a Spider-Man could be either.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe her trying to stop the Nord dimension from taking over may have been like a little too big of a
which I guess that kind of helps that it wasn't her that saved it, but was it Najma? Is that her name? Yeah, so the fact that
which
Najma is the one that is causing it and also the one that stops it, that's like, yeah, like you said, it's a little too big for Kamala, so let the adult deal with it. Plus it's the consequences of her own actions. But minor side thing, I love the fact that they keep referencing how Kamala saved Zoe, even though she was the one that almost got her killed, and we just never talk about it. And I'm like, are they gonna bring that up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she knows that part.
Oh my god. Yeah, the Comic-Con. Because the Ant-Man head falls. Because at first I thought they weren't gonna go all the way with it. It's gonna be like, oh, it's gonna kind of teeter, like, oh, okay. But then it actually falls and you're like, oh shit, are we actually doing this?
Can I say something that not in the moment, but as I thought about it, it kind of broke my not suspension of disbelief, but the fact that in episode 2 or whatever, she was training to use her powers, right? But she was a little out of shape, she couldn't do the push-ups and whatnot. And then by the time we get to episode 6, this girl's running on platforms,
hey man,
slides and all this shit. You don't have super stamina, right? I know your ass running all on platforms.
Yeah, GTA 5. It takes some time for her to build up, stamina tolerance.
The average person just like as soon as she gets away from all the people who are protecting her, she's going.
I was gonna say somewhere. They didn't have the mic on her while she was weeding. Just I'm here to save you.
Water.
But that scene really does go where it's because it's a Rube Goldberg device where shit happens, and then that girl actually ends up getting smacked by a wooden thing or something like that, where she's ends up being dragged across the room or something. Doesn't that happen?
It did.
I'm not mistaken, right?
What?
Yeah, and you're oh my god.
Wait, what are you talking
about? At the beginning, at the Avengers,
not dragged across the room.
About all the shit that knocked out.
Where she and someone ends up getting how my balls level hit with something that flies them across the room like a fucking wrecking ball, and you're oh my god.
Yeah, I'm gonna need Kamala to stop running on platforms and start using slides and whatnot.
Right? I'm
you want to surf through the city like fucking Iceman?
It's cool. Yeah, pretty
you
much.
Want to be like Sonic the Hedgehog,
rolling
around at the speed of sound.
Yeah, start be creative with the shit. She's essentially Green Lantern.
They call her ass Nightlight. Actually, I like Nightlight better than fucking Night Monkey. That shit pissed me off in Far From Home. But Nightlight, I'm like, no, that kind of makes sense. That's actually a cool name. Yeah, imagine getting your ass beat by Nightlight. At least they didn't call her the Brown Wonder or some shit.
Really. At first I was thinking of Mr. Fantastic, but no, she really is better Green Lantern.
I mean, of the two powers, so I guess we can talk about the two big surprises we got at the end. So in what is the biggest unexpected heel turn I've had, honestly, since watching Multiverse of Madness, because that movie, seeing Black Bolt on screen was my biggest surprise, not Mr. Fantastic. So she's not an Inhuman, and she's not only a clandestine, but she's a mutant in this version. They played the X-Men theme, and I'm just
I was like, oh.
When I saw that, I'm like, my jaw almost hit the floor. I'm like, what? Yo!
Are you going here?
So, I thought when he was saying there's something, he was going to say there's something different about your genes. It's something, and I thought he was going to say there's something inhuman. He said there's a mutation, and they played the theme. I'm like, that is the exact moment where every change in the show, I'm like, you get a pass. Had it been an Inhuman, I might have still been on the fence. I'm like, because that means you didn't want to fully commit. Making her a mutant is such a hard double down. That means I'm like, you're committing to any other changes. I'm like, I'm cool with it because you're not even adapting Kamala the Inhuman This is one. There's a there's a bunch of other variant Kamalas. There's a Kamala the Conqueror. There's a Kamala that has the powers of Captain Universe. There's a Kamala that's a black woman with an afro. There's a Kamala that's in Bollywood movies. This is a Kamala that's a mutant, and I'm all for it. I want Miles Morales to be a mutant next for whenever they get to him in live action. Do that shit. Like, yeah, because one, Kevin Feige clearly hates the Inhumans and still has a petty grudge against them. That's why he blew up Black Bolt in 5 minutes and made it a variant of Anson Mount, even though I thought that scene was great. And that costume is dope. Yeah, to this day, it's been fuck you, Perlmutter.
Yeah, I think we could all say.
All my homies hate Perlmutter. Shout out to Feige. But no, that blew my fucking pants off, and I'm like, all right, you're doubling down. I'm with you. If this is the way that you're going, you got my support. I'm 100% on board with Kamala the Mutant. And then we get the post-credit scene where now I thought that it's sort of a reference to the comics, because in the original comics she turns into Carol Danvers at first. That's why her powers are actually like shape-shifting, but she mostly uses it to change like the size of her arms and legs.
Boobs? I need to get into this stuff and distract the bouncer. Like,
she briefly turns into Carol Danvers. But in here, and Aaron, you corrected me on this. I thought she turned into Carol when she flew into the door. No, they swapped destinations. Apparently, is that what happened?
Well,
yeah.
Okay,
is that Carol?
I thought it was like a multiverse of madness sort of thing, where it's just like, oh shit, we just accidentally.
It's like, oh no, she's turned into a white woman. Like, fuck.
Yeah. Wait, actually, I would be like, oh, awesome!
Congratulations, I have the power now. I'm the strongest.
Indeed, I have
one of
the
strongest
power.
white woman in the universe. I win. Like, what were you saying, Aaron?
So no, I thought the same thing though. Like, she turned into her because that's what it is in the comics. So then it was brought to my attention. I rewatched the scene. I'm like, no, they switched places. But everyone's talking about that. But something people are not talking about is that after her, I can't remember if it's when she first gets up or it's after she looks around the room. But when Carol looks at her hands, they're glowing purple like Kamala's are. So I think they also switch powers. They switch places and switch powers, it looks like. Because I'm like, that's very interesting. Because I don't think I've seen that. Like a Freaky Friday kind of. Well, they're not in each other's bodies. They switch places, but I'm like, interesting.
Like switching abilities.
Hey, yo, what if they did switch bodies?
Kamala's powers.
Freaky Friday, but you turn into the most powerful Karen in the universe.
Absolute power.
Now I am the Captain Marvel. I am everything.
I am the Captain
Fuck,
Marvel.
I'm a tiny brown girl. Oh no. My rights.
How do you feel about Carol's? How do you feel about Carol's?
I like it actually. I like it quite a lot.
I wish there was a little bit more red in it. I would have. Like, I liked how much.
Through what? 4 costumes at this point. I'm trying to know what my girl Monica's costume is going to be.
What did she have, like a montage in her own movie? Singularity. Well, we see Monica's emblem in the Marvel's logo because that's not Carol's.
Yeah. Hold up. She's got it.
Some sort of suit.
And there's sort of a reference to it in WandaVision, like design-wise. It lightly references her Captain Marvel costume.
So if this is the Marvels and Monica is the third lead in this movie, it's about the 3 of them. Carol's called Captain Marvel. Kamala's
Spectrum.
Marvel. So what are they gonna call? What are they gonna call her?
Nigga, who cares? Black Marvel
of the Marvel.
Wait, now I remember. Yeah, now I remember. Right, isn't at the tail end they say the Marvels will return, right? So the idea.
Fuck you, bro.
Yes,
Monica Marvel. Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. I mean, I guess you could have like Captain Marvel and Sergeant Marvel. Actually, I think Carol's actually a
Sergeant
lieutenant.
Marvel.
No, I mean, Rob from Comics Explained had a good pitch though, where he said in the Marvels they should introduce Blue Marvel, which would be dope. I would like. Oh man, I'd go crazy if they introduced him because that. Plus, they'd have half of the Ultimates. It's like I don't know, Denzel Washington.
Blue Marvel then.
Blue Marvel's old as shit. He was around for the Kennedy assassination.
I mean, but okay, let me recorrect myself.
He can be.
He's not in shape anymore.
He got drugs. The same shit they put Hugh Jackman on. What you? Who would you want it to be? You got to be buff and handsome. You can't be Will Smith. Not right now. It could have been.
Buff and handsome.
In another life, it could have been Will Smith. But
they could do Will Smith. I'm trying to think who.
What about old boy from Black Panther? The We Will Not Help You.
He's already in Black Panther.
So said it. He's in Black Panther.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Wait.
Can they not do that?
Who's the homeboy that's playing Mike Tyson?
Which one?
Not Jamie Foxx, the other one. Yeah, Trevante Rhodes.
Trevante Rhodes or Jamie Foxx? Okay.
He's chocolatey.
I'm trying to think of an actor who hasn't been.
He hasn't been used. We could get Trevante Rhodes. Yeah, he's 30. He's 32. Chocolatey.
I'm thinking of a middle-aged to at least 40-year-old black man who hasn't been yet.
Oh, I know. Who's the boy? Your boy from
Michael Jai White. Oh, nigga, yes, absolutely. I am 100% on board for this. Michael, actually,
this man needs more roles.
It'd depend because Blue Marvel has fucked white women, and Michael Jai White does not go down those roads. He does not fly down the pink path.
But like he's an older. But he's an older, like someone who I feel is like an older, like could play the older action.
He has the fighting
character.
Damn,
you know what I mean?
It's 57. Good God.
Right? It blows my mind. And I keep thinking, like, my brain, you know how when you have, like, that certain feel for, like, certain actors, you're like, can we please get this man apart before he's fucking dead? Like, what are we doing? Why are we not giving this man more action of it? Why is this man not in 3 Blade movies already? What the fuck is going on? Hurry up, Hollywood. What the fuck
I feel like he might have low-key got... Damn, he voiced Doomsday and Justice? God damn. Yeah, he was Bronze Tiger on air. Like, the dude can fight. Like, I would be scared to catch this nigga in the alleyway. So, wait. Okay, so here's funny enough that you said that. He's voicing Blade in the Midnight Suns game that's coming out. Which, I mean...
that's cool.
Again, love to see a black man get a check. But yeah, let's get Michael Jai White as Blue Marvel. Shit. He got, the right age and shit. He looks the part. He's very fit. He could probably
let's get some cash.
He could probably punch through concrete. Ow.
What's
he's a scientist, but he's he's like he's a wise, stoic, elder black man. Nope. Let's see. He was a former fullback at Cornell University and a veteran of the Korean War, a Marine Corps member with 2 Silver Stars. Negative zone.
Keep looking at this image, and I feel like there's an actor that looks like this, but I can't put my finger on it.
Oh, Blue Marvel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chat?
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
No, he looks like every.
I want Sterling K. Brown.
Man, and they wasted him.
And I'm mad about it.
Daddy.
They wasted
the daddy that died. Shit. Okay. Adam got a Presidential Medal of Freedom from JFK. He's old. Like he's a badass dude. Like he threw hands with King Hyperion and Anti-Man, who's powered by antimatter. Like he's one of the most busted. There's a reason he's on the Ultimates. He's one of the most busted characters in the Marvel universe, next to Carol and Monica. Like, whatever the villain of the Marvels movie has to be some really serious shit. Because Carol and Monica are already like dumb, stupidly powered characters when they're at their max. He definitely does. He looks like every black grandfather.
Oh,
he just finds out he's a grandfather. He's like, that's my baby.
Small side note, but did you guys hear the rumor of who's gonna be the villain for Blade, the Blade movie?
Did we have anything else to say about Ms. Marvel? We can talk about them rumors for a sec.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good. I would just say solid show. Definitely check it out.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, we did get a shit ton of rumors. Rusty, you care about talking rumor shit?
Well, actually, my phone is on like 20%. Like it's getting low right now, so I should probably
lose them to the void.
Cut out. Yeah, because I was like, oh crap, it's going low, and I don't want to like keep going on the conversation and then like randomly get to a point where I forget. Yeah, where I forget to see that it's like it's all 1%.
Well,
and they're like, oh, fuck.
If you're curious, the rumored villain for Blade is Dracula, and the rumor is that he's going to be played by Anthony Starr, the guy that plays Homelander on The Boys. Yeah.
Oh my god. Wow. I'm definitely want to see what that's about. See what that's about when that happens. Holy shit. Damn. Okay. My ears will perk up. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep an eye out.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, because just getting to the boy, because I watched the second season before I didn't get too much into the third, but yeah, I do think he is great in that role, and I mean, I think a lot of people in the show are great, especially the wisecracking Aussie. The one person that I honestly don't like the most is the main character who feels so milquetoast. Yeah, it always just feels like it's like you ain't got no powers. You don't seem to have as much of a motivation as the other people. You can probably get killed at any second, and somehow you never are.
He's like,
you know, like
they'll be all right. And it's like, will you, bro?
Yeah, right.
Oh man. But
oh man. But yeah, I'm gonna let y'all get to it. Get to all the head exploding animated.
Well, I guess before you go, one, what were your thoughts from the way that you watched the show, and then anything that you want to plug?
It was so insane. Like, because I just watched, the third season. I watched the first episode, and then I was like, you know what? I don't have enough time. Let's just see what happens if I just watch the third one. I watched the final episode, and it was one of those things that was like, they give you the recap. So I was like, I'm sure I'll get recapped on everything that happens, so it'll be good enough. And I'm like, oh, what? He's got a dad in the, whoa. And so I was like, oh, dang, maybe this didn't actually give me as much as I needed, but it's still pretty crazy.
Yeah, you're going to go on a wild ride.
It's a good job.
Yeah, I definitely want to, and I want to see why Dark Shadow or whoever the dude in black is.
Oh, Black Noir,
killing everyone.
Mr. Black himself.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that fucking redundant ass name.
Black
Noir.
Boy,
he's so black.
Blackity black on black.
And blackity black and it's black, y'all. But yeah, because I was trying to figure out, like, wait, so he was killing a bunch of people, but he's also like a born again Christian because he needs the cartoons to the rescue to like help him out,
God damn.
But definitely got to go back to it. And if you want to support your boy, YouTube.com/Rap Critics, where I upload my rap song reviews. But I also, if you want to do ongoing support of your boy and get exclusive perks like seeing review a new podcast, my movie podcast episodes early, as well as getting to see Rap Critic episodes early, that's rapcritic.com patreon.com/rapcritic. Get with it, act like you want to. You get to join the Discord and chat with me and fellow fans. And we also have movie and game nights, as well as if you want to do donations, one-time donations, and put in requests for a movie or a song review or a live music stream, because I do my Twitch streams on twitch.tv/rapcritical. That's you go to kofi.com/rapcritic, ko-fi.com/rapcritic, and that's where you can request on the tiers for either a movie, a song, or an album, or your personal indie requests, because sometimes people be requesting their own music, and so I give them my private notes on that. So yeah, we doing things out here, you know what I'm saying, doing our thing, getting shit percolating and popping, as well as doing my own personal music that, like I said, if you go to the Patreon, I'll be uploading 2 joints this month. That's gonna be real fun. So get with it, act like you want it, and I'm out like fucking Jinko jeans.
All right, bro. Well, we'll catch up with you later, man.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure. I'll catch y'all. I'll catch you.
For sure, man. For sure, man.
Next time. All right. Peace.